Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast, presented by DJ City. Big shout to DJ City. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
DJ D Miles.
What's good, guys?
And then we got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
What's good, fellas? I mean, we've had a crazy weekend.
Yeah.
Rough weekend.
We're recording this on a Monday, and
This is the 2 days after everything basically transpired.
basically since the protests for George Floyd,
The looting, the riots, whatever you want to call it, all of the above.
everything started on Friday,
Yeah.
Well, Thursday night.
Thursday
Started.
night, right?
Yeah.
And then carried over to Friday, and then I guess the looting and property damage and destruction and rioting started getting crazy Saturday night to Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're meeting together for the first time since last week, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't really spoken about this. We've been on group chats kind of talking and like sending each other Twitter videos, Instagram videos, and just different kind of pics and images and movies and everything from what transpired this weekend. And I think we all have a bunch of different kinds of emotions about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess like just want to touch base with y'all on like, I don't know, like how y'all feeling now compared to before all the protests maybe.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, fellas. There's a lot. And I know we want to get into it. So like, I mean, how y'all feeling right now about what's going on? How are y'all feeling this weekend, man?
Dude, I felt mad. I was mad, sad, uncertain of like what the future holds. Like, it was just like, it really fucked my head up all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even think. I was like, I didn't know what to think. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was, at one point, I just got tired of going on social media, seeing like all the looting, the protesting. Everyone is angry. It was just like really depressing.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Well, it's funny because I remember the LA riots in New York. They didn't. I remember being in New York and I was working in Soho at the time. And when the verdict came in, they had on the news LA was rioting, and New York they was gonna riot as well. So the job I was working at, they shut down early because they thought that New York was going wild the fuck out like they was doing in LA.
Right.
And I remember everyone in New York was scared also that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But luckily, nothing happened in New York.
Yeah.
But it was just like seeing that on the news, it was just, I couldn't believe it. And then I thought like after that would never happen again. Like I never imagined that would happen, like you said, 28 years later, the same thing would happen.
Do you feel like this was worse?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Because like it was only in LA with that riot.
Yeah.
This one is in this looting. This shit would happen in New York, LA, Miami,
the
Chicago. Bay. It was just like all over.
See, for some reason, I thought the LA riots were worse.
No.
Just because they were murdering like random innocent motherfuckers, like that truck driver in the LA riots. Remember when they just pulled like
Reginald Denny.
Nah, they didn't kill him.
Yeah,
But they beat him up.
lived,
They
but
beat the shit out of him.
They beat the shit out of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they killed him. No.
Yeah, he lived, but I mean, he wasn't right.
Yeah.
I think he actually appeared on some talk shows after and was very forgiving, surprisingly.
He was.
But I mean, he got hit in the head with like a brick.
Right.
He got trounced.
Somehow the LA riots seemed more senseless to me. Like, it seemed more crazier.
Yeah.
I feel like these protests seemed somewhat more organized, actually.
Yeah, the LA
definitely.
riots. The LA riots were definitely a little more chaotic, and people were just really just burning anything in sight, especially in the black neighborhoods.
Right.
So you
And that-
felt it in the community more.
And not only that, we were only fed certain images and certain videos by the media. Whereas I feel like with Twitter
And social media
and
right
social
now.
media right now, we're getting fed everything.
Yeah.
Like
Live.
in real time.
In
We
real
don't
time.
we don't even know what the fuck was going on with the LA riots.
But the LA riots, I remember they didn't hit Beverly Hills or like all the rich neighborhoods. They just hit the
hoods.
The hoods.
Yeah.
But this one, they hit in every fucking neighborhood.
But they were just I mean.
They're like going on tour.
But
in
the thing
LA.
is, we have to also distinguish a couple things because the protests to me were very organized. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
I actually was on Thursday and Friday, I was very impressed by the youth who were out there protesting.
Yeah.
I was very inspired, and it gave me a lot of hope that like changes possible with this new generation, because the new generation hasn't really experienced the level of injustice that a lot of the past generations have felt.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's finally really hitting them, and they're doing something about it. So I actually thought what they were doing, what the protests were doing, and I hate to say this, but the burning down of the precinct in Minneapolis was like the most specific, and it was like the most righteous drone target. Does that make sense?
Strategic.
Yeah.
It was just
It
so
was strategically
strategic, and
planned.
it made so much sense. And I feel like even like Minneapolis PD were like, "Yo, we kind of deserve that. We fucked up." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when it started carrying over to everything else, obviously what happened. This is my thinking too, and I just want to distinguish how we take the riots and looting to be completely different from the protests.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
it's pretty clear from Thursday and Friday, the protesters were not about looting mom and pop shops, small local businesses.
Nope.
They were strategically, if they were doing any type of property damage or if they were making any type of statement, they were really being strategic on where they were hitting
Yeah.
and where they were like really attacking, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Whereas I feel like all these looters who started coming out on Saturday and Sunday came out because they saw the lack of police presence
Yeah.
in all of
Exactly.
these cities and was like, yo, we could just go out there.
This is the opportunity.
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
And then
rob
it's,
these
it's,
stores.
it's one of those things where if all the police are over here where the protesters are, we can be over here where all the stores are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's only a matter of time before the police become like, spread so thin that they can't cover every,
Yeah.
they can't like, like they can't defend every store
They
in a
basically
city.
can't be everywhere at the same time.
They can't be
I
everywhere.
felt like that about Saturday, but last night I saw that they looted Soho in New York.
Yeah.
And it was like hitting every store, and that there was not one cop in sight.
But don't you think that's...
but this is
yeah.
like 1 a.m, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
There was no protesting going on.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, there was, like I said, there was no cops nowhere. These people just like
But
hit every store in that neighborhood.
don't you feel like the cops at the same time were so exhausted and drained, and they were on some like, you know what, y'all, everyone standing behind the protesters, fuck y'all.
Yeah,
We're not gonna go out there. We're not gonna defend your stores, storefronts. We're not gonna do shit.
absolutely. Yeah.
So now you guys see how important police, like having a police presence is. But since y'all don't give a fuck about us, we're not gonna give a fuck about your properties.
yeah, that's how. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it
That's
was
what
almost a
happened.
little bit of payback, and maybe like also telling the politicians like, word, like Cuomo, like you stand with the
But
protesters.
instead of for us, then
You know?
we're gonna show you that you need us more than
Exactly.
we need you guys.
Right. And I feel like there's this power struggle
Yeah.
between the people, politicians, and the
the
police.
Law
I
enforcement.
think when you're like, because this is essentially, in some ways, a civil war, and in times of war, there's always collateral damage.
I mean, would you call it a race war?
I would call it yeah. I mean, in the sense of, I don't know if it's racism is driving it. I think it's more of
You don't think
hate
racism?
hate is driving it.
You don't think racism is driving
I
it?
think it is in the sense of
And when I say racism, I don't think like
because I feel like there are good cops, and I know they're good white cops.
But what we're talking about is a racism in a systematic sense of like
yeah,
the whole system, the way the country operates
yeah,
is built around racism,
yeah,
Yeah.
and it doesn't do anything but make certain people of privilege more wealthy, and it keeps other people more poor, and
Yeah.
it keeps them down.
yeah.
And it's I think racism as a whole is embedded into our structure of America,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work. Like
And
it
then-
doesn't work at all. You know what
And
I
then
mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like in times of war, you're just gonna have collateral damage. You're gonna have shit that happens that doesn't make sense, and you're gonna have a lot of ugly shit happen.
Yeah,
And I think, in Vietnam it happened. I think in the world wars it happened. This is not on that caliber, but I think when people are fed up and they feel like they don't have a voice, they act out. And sometimes the only way they feel like they can be heard is through those riots. And maybe everyone doesn't have the way to articulate through a protest, but they feel like, okay, let me go and tear some shit up. And that's just on a street level. I don't think it's right. I don't think going into neighborhoods is necessarily right, but I think I would prefer that than them going into people's homes and killing them. Versus, you know, like if I would hate to see angry black protesters go into an innocent white family's home and hurt them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, you kind of like take it with a grain of salt in that sense, but it's not right and I don't condone it. But I think that I understand it. And I haven't done it myself, but I think I can understand the pain. But I think there are people that are out there freeloading and looting and just trying to come up. And that part I don't like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but that's something you can't help either, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, as a business owner, like, you know, Neva and I used to own brick and mortar, mm-hmm. you know, and it's hard not to, you know, we've been burglarized, we've been stolen, you know, mm-hmm. like we've done a lot of shit. We used to do these block parties for Las Vegas, mm-hmm. and, you know, the cops came and shut us down one time. Like there was a time when one of the kids who came to our block party was drunk and we actually kicked him out. And he brought his own bottle of Jack Daniels or some shit. And
it was either Jack or Hennessy or something.
Yeah, something. And he got caught outside of our store, like throwing shit at cars and acting a fool. And then he blamed us that we sold him a bottle of Jack Daniels, which we would never fucking do.
Right.
And I mean, when we had block party events, we had all the liquor in the back office, and only homies were allowed to drink that shit that we knew that was allowed in the back office.
Right.
You know
we didn't even give liquor to like the customers that was at the party. It's just, like you said, just the homies that we knew.
And we had security come through.
Yeah.
At the door, and we had them. But either way, I mean, that kind of fucked up all the other block parties that we did because like we were like, yo, we don't want to get shut down because of one dude who blames us for some shit, so we never did it again.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing where it's like, if I had a business right now and it got looted, I would understand that it's collateral damage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a bigger message and a bigger movement. Mm-hmm. But if the city that I came up with, you know, vandalized something that I built with them, what does that say? And does that motivate me to rebuild again?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing that I was feeling a little bit. And it's one of those things where it's like we feel for these business owners, but they also got to understand that this, you know, this ain't something like, it's not personal, yo. Like it's part of like a bigger movement.
Yeah.
You know, and I was even speaking with MoMA and Ross One and Ratikon about this, and you know, MoMA was like, yo, like y'all keep talking about the vandalism going on with these stores, but it's all collateral damage. You know what I'm saying? Like it's part of a bigger movement. And I was like, yo, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, because I used to work at Riff LA, and I'm still really close to some of those guys, especially the owners. Shouts to Jeff and stuff. And yeah, he took it the same way that you just explained it, Crook, which is it's collateral damage. It's bigger than them. It wasn't pinpointed. It wasn't just a target. It did just so happen to be on the way of everything happening. And it does suck seeing stuff like that because, like, that dude gives the whole shop, Riff LA as a company, they give so much back to Skid Row because they're, like, 2 blocks away from Skid Row. Mm-hmm. They give so much shit back to Skid Row. To anybody that walks in there, they welcome them and they make them feel like family, hook you up, da-da-da-da-da. And to see the videos where, like, certain people I can recognize through the videos that have pulled up to the shop and bought shit, and then they're in those videos breaking the windows down and running inside and trying to steal shit. It's fucked up. It's not, it's fucked up to see something that.
I mean, it hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts. It hurts a lot of people who are a part of that and help build it.
Yeah,
it hurts everybody. But it's also, you got to also question, like, are some of these looters our customers?
Yeah, for sure.
Damn right. And and you also, like, I think Bobby Hundreds really, he posted some shit about, because they literally burned down the Hundreds store in, I think, on Fairfax.
No, they didn't burn it down, but
that whole corner
were torched up.
It was torched. I mean, his shit is fucked up.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Hundreds store is fucked up.
That too. Like, dude, I used to work at Fairfax, so I spent 40 hours a week there, and seeing like the corners being, like, seeing some of the stores being run into is fucking nuts.
But you also gotta understand this, man. A lot of these people, a lot of these influencer, like, brand owners, designers, right?
Yeah.
They're consistently creating this narrative of how the importance of material objects are, of the importance of clothing and fashion and all of these things. So, Bobby Hundreds is like, it's no surprise that these kids would come over here and try to take this shit.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been
The
pushing.
value.
We haven't been pushing the value of equal rights. We haven't been pushing the value of, treating everyone fairly and loving your neighbor and all of these things. We've been pushing, everything we push is product.
Yeah.
And I feel like my generation, maybe my generation and older, we're just so obsessed with business and expanding and like pushing product and it's just like we forget sometimes on the importance of just like everyday human rights and loving one another and just not everything being surrounded about product and capitalism and all this
Materialistic
shit.
shit.
Yeah, it's just like, so it's like, honestly, man, it's a check for all of these motherfuckers. It's a check in humility and everything to be like, yo, what's really important right now?
Yeah.
And especially like there's no, and the pandemic is another thing. It's like, would this be happening? Would this have escalated to this point if there wasn't a pandemic?
That
right?
was the thing I was thinking about too. And I heard Charlemagne, he was on First Take on ESPN this morning with Stephen A. Smith. And he said it was almost a perfect storm. If you think about it, you have people that have been cooped up in their house for months.
Yeah.
You have people that have been laid off or furloughed, don't know where their money's coming from. They're waiting on a stimulus check, and they got to decide with that stimulus check whether they're going to pay rent or buy food for their families.
Yeah.
So 3 months of that, people have been dying to get outside for any reason, and then this pops up, and it just gave them the perfect opportunity.
Well, how much more injustice can you take?
Right.
Like how much more can we take of all of these wealthy capitalists controlling the country and not giving a fuck about people?
Yeah.
To the point where we're like, and the thing is, you got to think about it, it's like, yo, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be like this. I want to be like, do you really want all of that shit?
Yeah.
And to lose sight of what's important? Because it's almost inevitable when you care so much about your business and earning money and product and all of these things, you neglect other things in your life, yo.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, do we really want to become these fucking capitalists? Is that really the focus on what life is at this point right now? How many fucking sneakers do you need to sell?
Right.
How much money do you need to make? How much product do you need to create? Like, how much do you need? How many stores do you need, bro?
Yeah.
Those, honestly, like, Undefeated. I love all these stores. I love all of these people, and they're expanding and everything. But it's like, do we need all of these stores out there? You know what I'm saying? Like, even when downtown LA was popping and all these retail stores were opening from all of these other stores coming there, from RSVP to Commonwealth to Blends and all of these people coming in, and we were kind of talking like, do we need all of these stores that are going to carry all the same shit that everyone else has?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I mean, fuck, man.
Is that all that there is to bring to LA? It's like one of those things where it's like, this neighborhood's about to pop, detail is about to pop. What can we bring to that? And it's like more retail, yo. And I get it, but it doesn't make any sense to me right now. Right? It doesn't have any value to me right now.
Yep.
But that's the motto that we've been instilled in our brains, like with America, right? Like you grow through expansion. You try to become as big as possible. You try to become as rich as possible. That's the American way. And then to do it by any means necessary. Like, fuck who you offend. Fuck who you step on to get to where you're gonna go. Like you just get there.
And it's like it's normal.
Yeah.
The way that it's put, I mean, the way that you see it, the way you think about it, it's just like a normal thing to do.
Like
It's
every
like expand.
corporation has
no
some
morals.
skeletons, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every large Fortune 500 company has done some shady shit to get to that level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's okay because it's like, okay, I made it. So I'm gonna forget about those things I did, those demons I have. Like I made it, and like you said, you sacrifice other aspects of your life to get there, and that's pretty sad. Like you can become rich as hell,
And you just
but
want to grow bigger,
you
like I
have
said, and
no-
get richer.
You lose your
Make-
morals, you lose your ethics.
Your values.
Yeah, your family life
But
suffers.
Why do we put so much value into that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like even now with everything going on, people are like, Gucci hasn't said anything, Louis Vuitton hasn't said anything.
Yeah,
Why hasn't this successful white EDM DJ, they haven't spoken? These celebrities haven't spoken. These actors haven't spoken. Why do we put so much expectations on these rich people that they should have a voice on any social injustice in this world. Like, why do we, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because you've been successful and you're good looking and you became a successful actor, why does that mean anything you're saying you're going to tell us is going to be poignant or anything? Like, why does that person have to be a leader in anything? You know, like, why do we put these expectations on shit?
I mean, it goes back to that Dave Chappelle skit, right? Where he goes, when the 9/11 happened, and then TR was like, we got Ja Rule on the phone. And he's like, I don't give a fuck what Ja Rule thinks in a time like this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm scared. Like, shit is happening. Why the fuck do we care about what they got to say?
Yeah, why do we care about Gucci saying something and then like, well, Gucci, you know, how many black people have given money to Gucci? It's like, yo, you already know they don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
So then why don't you be careful about where you put your money in?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then why are motherfuckers putting their money into that shit? Like, I actually have to apologize because there was a tweet that what's his name? Corey Towns tweeted out. And I actually agreed with the tweet, but I got so mad and I kind of misread his tweet at the same time. But he basically said, remember who did and didn't speak up for you and other black people getting killed in the streets when they announced their new line or shoe collab or sweatpants come out. Remember that shit. The Ronnie Figs, the Teddy Santis, all of them banking on the black dollar. And then, you know, I came back and I basically was like, and honestly, like, I agree with him 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
of course.
everyone should be wary about who they give their money to and who they're, you know, and who they're basically, you supporting, right? And I said,
the brand.
and I basically retweeted his shit and I said, Ronnie Fig, like the guy that took advantage of no-name designers, demand they send free product to sell at kits so he could pocket 100% of the gross and avoid paying any wholesale. This is who you want to speak about social injustice? Like, motherfuckers pick the worst people to champion.
Yeah.
And when I said motherfuckers pick the worst people to champion, I wasn't saying him. I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers pick the worst motherfuckers to champion. But I came off real hostile at him. But I was actually in agreement with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't see why, when something like this happens, we turn to capitalists and businessmen to speak about things that are outside of business. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, and not only that, some of these brands, they don't even want black people wearing
Their brand.
their brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do black people expect them to say something about what's going on right now?
It's what do you think that comes from? Just the validation of like wanting to be accepted. I'm wondering what that is. And I think motherfuckers should really worry about where they spend their money right now.
Yeah.
Because the last thing that's important to me, and maybe because I'm older, is a fucking Gucci bag or Louis Vuitton. Like, fashion has not been an important thing to me in a long time.
But like you said, you're older. You thinking different now,
Right.
Like, I was telling you this the other day. Like, when we first started getting money,
Yeah,
we was buying all that shit. We was buying
For
the Gucci.
sure.
We was buying the Louis Vuittons.
for sure.
But now that we thinking about it, it was like, damn, we should have spent our money on something else.
Right.
It's like we wouldn't do that now. But you think differently when you're younger, especially when you don't have nothing. Then you start to get some money, and then you like, damn, I didn't have this growing up, so I'm gonna take advantage.
Yeah, but
about all this shit now.
But like, yo, we already knew when Ralph Lauren said what he said, motherfuckers kind of stopped, you know, rocking.
I mean,
Polo.
But Timberland said that shit also, and people were still rocking Timbs.
That's true.
I honestly, in the last 2 years of my life, I fall back in buying fucking new clothes every week and sneakers every fucking week release and shit like that. But it has come from like, what does that fucking matter? I used to buy $2,500 Yeezys and fucking spend all my money on Nikes and shit, and then nowadays, like, I just wear the same fucking pair. It's like you kind of realize that some of that shit don't fucking matter. Like, I'd rather spend it on if I go to dinner with Crook or hang out with D somewhere. I'd rather build the memories than fucking have materialistic shit sitting at home collecting dust, basically.
Well, you never pay when we go out, so I don't know what he's talking about. Nah, I'm just saying.
I feel like a lot of people think in their mind that if they're spending their money towards a company or a brand, in their mind they think that the person creating these brands appreciates them for giving their money to them. And then in times like this, they may feel like...
No. Let's get deeper.
Yeah.
Because when I buy Gucci and I wear Gucci, for me, it gives me more self-worth.
Yeah.
right? Because when I walk out, I'm like, yo,
You're fresh.
I'm fresh,
Same thing. Yes.
right? So that relationship that I have is one-sided
Yeah.
because it's like me caring about how people perceive me. Like, yo, that's not a broke kid.
Right.
That motherfucker got money. He look good. He's in Gucci. He's obviously successful in whatever he does.
Yeah.
And the way I talk to that motherfucker or approach him is going to be different than how I would talk to him if he looked like a bum or like a regular jack from a regular motherfucker on the street, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a badge of status.
Right. And then how does that feel when that company doesn't
Acknowledge
care
it.
about you?
Yeah.
They don't want
They
you
don't give a
as
fuck about you.
they don't care about your money and they don't care about you wearing their shit, or they think they don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, it started really getting ugly with the whole resale game. So like, I think there's a difference between a hype beast and a sneakerhead.
Yeah. Two different
You know,
things.
so like a sneakerhead to me cares about the culture, like about sneakers and all of that shit. They're a diehard
absolutely.
person.
Yeah.
A hype beast doesn't give a fuck about anything except showing off how expensive and how limited or exclusive the shit that they're wearing is on. Or you know what I'm saying? There's a difference. One is complete braggadocious, and the other one is like a love for the actual culture.
Yeah. The love for the
Yeah.
Exactly it. Yeah, because that came to play about 5 years ago when the word hype beast took a turn.
Right.
And that's what kids desire to be.
Well, I think there is something inside of us that wants to feel acknowledged
Right.
for giving our money to these companies. And I'll also equate it to when you look at professional sports, the NFL, them owners don't give a fuck about their players.
Yeah.
They're making the players rich, yeah, but they don't give a fuck
At this,
about them.
at this point, does anyone need to watch the NFL? I mean, the NFL released a statement, right?
Too late, buddy.
Saying that they're with the side of the protesters.
Yeah,
right?
like they acknowledge the.
Yo, like
yeah.
the fucking nerve of that. I
That
didn't
was-
even.
yeah, that was
I read
arrogant.
that. I read that statement real quick, but at no point did they acknowledge anything about what they did with Colin Kaepernick.
Nope.
They didn't say anything of that nature.
No.
So
Black-
what in their right minds would think that it's okay for them to release a statement like that?
Yeah.
I think at this point, you guys got to understand, like, why are you supporting these people? Why are you even acknowledging them?
Right.
The second you acknowledge them, you're giving them an opportunity to respond and put out some bullshit statement that their PR department conjured up.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, don't even give them that.
Yeah, I read that statement, and the fact that they didn't even acknowledge what Colin Kaepernick sacrificed as far as his career is concerned, and to see it come full-fledged, unfolded now, like years later, to me was disrespectful. It's like, at least acknowledge that man and acknowledge the fact that he was doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And if you're not gonna do that, then don't say shit. Like, don't even bother putting out
But
a
like,
statement,
y'all,
'cause
but
you look crazy.
As a people of this country, right? Why do we even support the NFL at this point? If you know that they're taking advantage of people, like blatantly just taking advantage of shit, and if you know that they don't have the finger on the pulse on what's going on,
Yeah.
and if they don't have their finger on the pulse on what's going on, when I don't know what is the percentage of black men that play in the NFL?
I think it's like 85.
Yeah,
85%. If you don't have your finger on the pulse, right?
Yeah.
And of young black men,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the black community, like, what are you doing?
85% of the NFL is African American as far as players.
Yeah.
I think only 2% or 3% is in the like coaching realm.
Coaching and staff.
And then when you
Yeah.
get to the GM, it's even less. And then all the owners are white.
I'm about to say that, yeah.
There's no black.
owner.
It gets even worse. It's when you climb the ladder.
But
in
like,
the
why
NFL.
even work with that, man?
Yeah.
Why even give them like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do that anymore?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, this Corey Towns tweet. I agree with him 100%. That yeah, like, y'all shouldn't spend money, black money, on these brands that don't give a fuck about y'all, who don't speak up. But at the same time, what do you want them to say?
Yeah.
Why you're putting your expectations on these people?
Yeah.
And even if they put out a bullshit statement, or if they say, "Hey, our next collection is devoted to Black Lives Matter," and
black
it's not,
culture.
yeah, it's like, would you guys be accepting of like, all right, he's okay now, even though that everything that
You know what? Unfortunately, there's some folks that will feel that way.
yeah, but if you know that the intention isn't 100%, and it's because look, if they're businessmen, they care about their business, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing that shit for business. They're not doing it for the people.
Of course not. Yeah.
So like, if you're okay with them doing that shit just for business, just for like window dressing, and then maybe some money goes to the right donations, maybe that's good enough. but then you're continuing to let these motherfuckers stay in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more so, why you only do it when shit hit the fan? Like, you don't do it on the regular basis.
And you know what? I give a shout to like all these designers and everything. And I don't know, man. Like, I just don't need non-black people to all be revolutionaries.
Right.
I don't need you to be a revolutionist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have money, donate the money in the right places. Speak to people in your circle who can guide you in the right way. But I also think it's unfair for the public to be like, how come you haven't said nothing? How come you haven't said nothing?
That kind of bothered me a bit because everybody was expecting in the DJ community to say something that were non-black because you profit on a black culture. But it was like, I was more so like, fam, I'm trying to process this.
Right.
And it's taking me some fucking time because this is not only hitting me as an adult, but it's going back to when I was a kid, seeing shit like that in my neighborhood. So I'm like, do I need to rush a fucking tweet out to say that I'm with these people? Like,
Yeah, I think that's very unfair.
like that, yo.
It's
like,
not that it's unfair. It's honest. You're forcing a statement from motherfuckers who don't necessarily understand what is this that they have to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if your world, like, and it's so apparent when you look at these statements from these non-black people. It's so forced.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And it's cringeworthy. Like,
It's
I don't
like you haven't not even see it.
Yeah, like motherfuckers telling me about how they went to school with a black kid or something like that. Like, I don't really need to hear that shit.
I know. Oh, my friend is black.
Yeah, or anything like that. Or like, I play black music and therefore I'm with Black Lives Matter. That's why you with Black Lives Matter? Because you play black music? Like, it don't make no sense. Like, I don't...
Because you wear Jordans?
Yo, you can already tell what
Fucking never.
motherfuckers do not have black people in their circle.
Yeah.
Because motherfuckers who have black people in their circle would not tweet that shit out or would not put that shit out. Because they're black friends with him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or necessarily feel pressured to do it. Maybe you could tweet it out, but not as far as like making it so the way people were getting pressured to tweet shit out. Like, even, I mean, when they were caging up little Mexican kids on the border, I didn't expect anybody to say nothing because you can't relate to it.
And then I feel like people are speaking out of emotion, and they're like, "Well, why aren't you helping? Why aren't you saying your piece?"
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a bunch of friends, a lot of friends that are lesbian, or that and they have their own rights issues. Because I don't speak about it on my platform doesn't mean I don't care about them and support them any less.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's something that I don't fully understand. So if I don't fully understand, I'm not going to go online or go on my platform and talk about it and not have all the education necessary to speak about it. I don't feel qualified, but that doesn't mean I don't care. And that doesn't mean that I don't support them any less.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's the
exactly.
same thing with this. Like, you don't have to speak about it to support. You can support in other ways. You don't have to go on your platform and
But I mean, also just speak about
verify
it. Speak about it in your own way when you're comfortable to speak about
In
it.
your own terms.
And honestly, if you don't speak about it, it doesn't mean you're a racist. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
That's the thing is like we're trying to kill people who generalize people, and we're generalizing people.
Yeah.
right.
It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say every non-black EDM DJ is a racist. No, they're not. But can I say that they're ignorant? Yes. So I think we have to be open to ignorance, though.
Yeah.
And we can't call everything that's ignorant racism either.
Right.
Is uninformed.
Yeah, but that's ignorance. And I think everyone
it's
should be
uninformed.
open about being ignorant. I would have much rather heard from motherfuckers like, yo, I'm really trying to process this shit. I've never been,
I haven't seen that once.
I've never been like exposed to this level of injustice and all of these feelings that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, I would love to speak with some motherfuckers about this. That I appreciate more when people admit their ignorance.
Yeah.
On politics, I'm ignorant as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I'm ignorant about a lot of shit, and I admit that I'm ignorant about shit. And actually, I love being educated about certain things as long as there's not too much to read or anything. I like the
much to
quick.
take in, yeah.
I like the quick education. Like, give me the Cliff Notes, so I could battle my ignorance with in the quickest way possible with as little effort as possible. But I think everyone should be more comfortable with everyone being ignorant.
Yeah.
I think like if someone asks a question about black culture or something in the black community, they shouldn't get attacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone should be more open to educating motherfuckers and not trying to cancel everybody, yo. Like,
Yeah, the
yo,
cancellation
they're
is
trying to
crazy. I
cancel Virgil Abloh. You know what I'm saying?
Because he donated $50.
He donated $50
to every.
But come on, man. But come on, this is Virgil, man.
It was what $50 to every
sells-
protester towards their bail, right?
Huh?
Was it $50 towards?
No,
every,
just 50. One $50.
No, just
one
$50.
just one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But come on,
misread it.
no,
I
no,
But come
misread
on,
it.
this guy sells.
wait.
He sells sneakers for
But let's-
$1,500.
Let's
No,
explain
no,
something.
he
Let's
doesn't
explain
sell
something.
15. No, the
Let's
regular
explain
The
price.
Louis Vuitton sneakers are $1,500.
Oh yeah, those are.
Let's explain something. Let's explain something.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's explain something. A bunch of DJs in Miami, a bunch of motherfuckers in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Started Dizza, actually, our homie Dizza was like, yo, I am donating to like all of these bail funds, right?
Yeah.
All of these funds that are like these that are helping all the protesters bail and just supporting BLM and all of this shit.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I'm matching Diz's $50. I'm matching
$100.
$50.
Yeah, everybody was doing it,
I'm
yeah.
putting 100. I'm doing this. And I think Virgil was like, yo, I'm in it too. Like I'm matching him. But I think he did it in a response.
Wait, he matched Dizza?
He just matched everyone's $50. Everyone was putting $50 in. But I don't think he thought about it like, damn, I should put 5,000.
Yeah.
I think he was just like, I'm part of y'all too. Like here's 50. You know what I'm saying?
But this is Virgil, though, man.
I know, but I'm
I see what you're saying, but there's no. Hold on, quick.
that doesn't mean he should be canceled.
No,
bro.
no. Hold on. Well,
But he should be
if
called
other-
out, though.
Yeah, but people
I would say
have
canceled
habit-
even, man.
People are enraged about shit, and the problem is in our world, there's nothing you can do on virtual in the virtual world of social media. There's the most you can do is cancel somebody, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
basically, yeah.
there's nothing else you can do. You can't reform a motherfucker, right? Because you don't know, because motherfuckers don't know Virgil.
Yeah.
They can't call up Virgil and be like, yo, you wilding for that shit. So what they're gonna do is like, yo, how could you do that? They're gonna go on and on and on. They'll be like, he's canceled. When he's the last person motherfuckers should cancel. Do you
Why?
understand? Why?
Yeah, why?
I think the symbolism of what Virgil stands for is bigger than a lot of shit to me that people are criticizing him about.
Okay.
I think he is basically the first black designer and creative director to infiltrate the luxury world of high fashion.
Okay.
That is a big deal.
Right.
He's also one of like the founders of just like bringing black culture into like the fashion world with Kanye, him, Jerry Lorenzo, Don C, all of these dudes. Now, I'm not going to say that maybe them being in that business, they were caught up in that world a little too much. And maybe they lost sight of certain things or maybe misspoke on certain things, which is natural. But they don't need to be canceled.
Yeah.
Especially when motherfuckers like, you know, Virgil's like speaking out about how could you guys loot these stores? How could you loot round two? How could you loot all of them? And everyone's like, why the fuck you give a fuck about these stores? And they're right. And he's right too. Because those are, in his eyes, those are his friends. Those are his peers. And he knows their passion for the culture and what they're doing. But that maybe came to his heart and his mind and his brain first before the actual movement and the importance of the cause of what's going on. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm not saying he needs to be canceled.
No, but that's what I'm saying is everyone needs to stop attacking motherfuckers for these things, and they have to just kind of they have to approach it differently on social media. And I know that's impossible.
Yeah. Well, I think
because everyone's gonna attack anybody, yo.
People, I don't want to. They shouldn't expect more from him, because of who he is, because of his stature, because of what they probably think he's worth. All these things they expect for him to be a little more generous than $50.
Yeah, but that's honestly like
he has the right to give whatever he wants.
That's not the point of it. The point of it is like the people don't have the right to know how much a motherfucker makes and how much he gives.
But I think that's part of the problem too, is that we've put him into an idol status, and certain people idolize him, and because they idolize him, they just expect the world.
Honestly, someone with marketing, someone who knows marketing like him, was not the smartest thing to put in his stories that he donated $50.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
I think maybe in the heat of the moment, he was looking at it like on some personal homie shit. Like, yo, Dizza, I put my 52, like I'm with you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, you got a little more than 50 in the bank, man. You know. Like,
the thing is, like, other people don't. I saw
his sneakers sell out.
I know. I'm not lying. Like that motherfucker should have put $5K. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I think in his eyes, he was like, "Yo, like
you just want to be a part of
this is these are a bunch of unknown motherfuckers in Miami, and I fuck with y'all cause in Miami, like what y'all doing locally for like motherfuckers in Miami, and I think that's what he was doing, but I don't think he was realizing like, damn, $50 ain't shit, and motherfuckers are gonna come at me for putting $50 in there.
The things I saw Dizza post everybody that was matching him, and other people were giving more than $50. So
I know.
you can't just be sorry. You can't just be like,
Look,
well,
man.
yeah, yo, I'm gonna match his 50 when somebody before me did
When
buck
you-
50.
especially when you're Virgil. Come on, man.
Yeah, but my
Yeah,
whole thing
but
is this:
say-
like, how many black individuals do you have in the fashion world, in his stature? And he wasn't raping women, he wasn't doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
He just put $50 in
Yeah.
when he should have. When everyone's expectation is like, yo, you're a fucking millionaire, you should put like fucking $500,000 in there. It's like, yo, honestly, man,
But that's like if Jay-Z was to put in $50.
exactly.
How would you
but
feel
that
if-
doesn't kill. But that doesn't make Jay-Z like.
But I'm gonna say cancel him out, but you could definitely call him out
You're
for
definitely judging.
just judging. Exactly, yeah.
Would you look at Kanye and be like, what the fuck, only $50, Kanye?
I mean, yeah, but like, what? We don't know what he was thinking. Like, he was distracted or some shit. Like, yo, I matched that
You
shit.
think so?
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
But do you know it's
I'm
not
giving-
it's not enough to be
You
canceled.
think after he put the $50, he's like, oh shit. I meant to put 3 more zeros with that $50.
At least two.
Because the problem is,
Oh man, they gonna get at me.
And then, hold on, if you're gonna do it, that's cool.
but here's the thing.
The
now.
thing, he promoted it and he said, yo, just donated
But that's
$50.
the thing is that, yeah, he put up the screenshot.
That's even worse, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
He put up the screenshot like, yo, this is Raul. I got
Got
you.
I got y'all, man. Y'all my peoples. I got y'all, man.
But it's at the same time, he doesn't need to get canceled.
But I'm
and
with
should
you.
motherfuckers fuck with him? Like, yo, you can give more. Yes.
Yeah,
But like, this is not someone that needs to get canceled or anything like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kirk. I mean, we're shitting,
I agree with you
we're
on that
shooting,
too,
we're
yeah.
shitting and giggling and shit like that.
Nah.
Like that. But the thing is, what other people's do is none of my concern. And I get it. Who am I to judge somebody donating just $50? Maybe behind the scenes he's doing way the fuck more. I mean, he
Yeah,
probably
you don't
is,
know. Like, it's motherfuckers.
But
like,
we're judging
"What's
off for the 50.
What's Jay-Z doing? What's Jay-Z doing? I'm like, yo, he was on the phone with the fucking
Yeah,
governor of
Phone Master
Minneapolis,
Fletcher's
you
on
know?
the radio Saturday was just going off. Like, I don't know what he just like shitting on Jay-Z. Oh, Jay-Z haven't done this. Jay-Z haven't done that.
But you don't know.
It's like this shit is bigger than what Jay-Z's doing.
But also, like, you know what, man? Like, there's so, and this comes down to this, man. There's no leaders in America, yo.
Exactly.
we're-
There's
bunch
no
of sheep.
fucking leaders that we're going to celebrities, yo. Like, we're
And
going
that's
to.
what
Exactly,
that's what I'm
man.
saying. Like from the top down is fucked because we shouldn't be looking to celebrities for answers.
Exactly, but like,
Yeah.
why are you even looking at like white designers like Ronnie Fake? Like, why are you looking at him?
Where's Ronnie? At
Like,
this time?
is he supposed to speak about black and like social injustice and you know what I mean?
Dude, I don't expect.
I don't want to hear about him at all. About maybe like him and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't honestly don't want to hear about any of these motherfuckers on social media talking about, you know, power to the black people. You know, I play black music and da da da. Like, I don't want to hear that shit at all.
Honestly, the one person that I was expecting was Killer Mike, and that's about it.
Killing my kid, like,
He bodied
Well,
his
yeah, he's an
page.
activist.
He's an
Yeah, but he's an
Exactly.
activist.
So you
I'm
expect that
expecting
from
an
him.
activist
look,
to do their job.
T.I. and Killer Mike. That's who I want to hear from.
Yeah.
And that's we should put those guys.
and barely
on.
T.I. He just gets by.
No.
but
No,
come on,
T.I.
but
T.I. did a lot when he got caught with those charges. So he gave
T.I.
he gave back
is
a
up
lot.
there, man.
Sorry.
And those are the people we need to put on a bigger
Killer,
platform.
even David Banner. That's another one.
Yeah, David Banner.
Those are the motherfuckers that we need to talk to and that should speak for a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
I
And,
agree.
like,
Yep.
to go up to all these celebrities and especially white celebrities. Like, what are white celebrities supposed to do?
Yeah. What George Clooney's supposed to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is Gordon Ramsay
Besides, like,
thinking
the
about
most
this?
they should be doing is actually educating people. Like, here's where you can donate, and here's what you can do. Mm-hmm. And that's what motherfuckers should do, man.
Yeah.
And if there aren't any real changes that need to happen, they need to be honestly aware of the changes that need to happen in their industry. Every industry needs to change, even our own, even a nightclub and all these DJ shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those. And I hate it because I judge some of these motherfuckers too, and I try not to judge motherfuckers.
Okay.
But like motherfuckers who go on live stream right now, I think people were kind of even feeling some type of way of D-Nice going on live stream. You know, this weekend. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you ain't even speaking about this shit, but you're gonna DJ and shit.
But
Like,
he was raising money though.
he was raising, and that's what my thing is that everyone is looking for anybody really
To point the finger and be
to
like,
point
why
the finger
aren't
and be
you
like,
doing
why
shit?
aren't you doing more?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's so wrong to do that.
It's not needed right now.
It's not anyone's place to do that. Even though when I see certain motherfuckers who are doing like live streams and Twitches, and I'm like, how could y'all be on live stream right now playing like all of this happy ass music, and while these riots are going on and these protests are going on and this looting's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we reschedule our shit because we have.
Yeah, we
plans
were
to do.
supposed to go on Sunday, but at the same time,
We were supposed to go Friday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
maybe I'm guessing maybe in their mind they're looking at it as, okay, there's so much of this negative going on in the world. Let me do something to take people's minds off of it.
I mean,
Let me
yeah.
go on and play just
Is that,
music
or
and-
is it that they're just not in a world where they know any black people?
so they just-
It's not affecting them the way it is affecting us.
Oh yeah, no. The way we feel about it, I think, is completely different than probably how they do, and so they're not as attached.
Do you think any person, any non-black person with who has a large group of friends who are black and POC, people of color, you think they could just go out on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon and have brunch right now?
Probably not. They probably feel away.
So you gotta, and so do you think any person with that right mind who isn't somewhat disturbed on what's going on right now can go on a live stream and DJ a bunch of like club music?
I think it's possible, but I don't think it's right. I think they're in their minds. They think
I'm
that
not
they're
judging.
doing
I
something
mean,
right.
mind you, I'm not judging nobody. I'm just seeing
Yeah.
it from my point of view, where like everything was so upsetting, and I was processing everything, and I was just looking to see what more was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like playing music would heal anything, and especially playing like black music wouldn't heal anything.
Yeah.
Like an Asian dude playing black music right now would not stand for anything.
You're
you know what I'm
basically
saying?
just saying it's like it's not needed right now, but
Yeah.
Definitely not for me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But I'm gonna shoot some bell. Maybe that's the way they cope through shit. Maybe music is the way they cope through it, and then
or maybe that's the only thing they know to do. Do you understand what I'm
They
saying? Like,
playing music, taking shots,
yeah,
drinking while they playing.
yeah,
having a good
that's a little
time.
nuts.
I was talking to one of my boys, and I
that's
was like,
wait. What are you trying to say? Like them having a good time on live
Well,
stream.
then
and
it's
Twitch?
like they don't. I mean, they're not feeling it the same way as I felt it. Like I said, this whole weekend, I was just like, this whole thing fucked me
all
up.
I'm saying is I saw a bunch of live streams that weren't focused on
that we're not necessarily.
It wasn't thinking about that.
that
Yeah.
that had no relevancy to what was going on in the outside world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they were like having shots, taking like, yo, it's time to take shots, and I'm playing this, and I'm
It's the
playing
hour mark.
I'm playing this song, I'm playing this, and like, I mean,
It's like party time.
Some of our peers were that. Some of these
Yeah.
motherfuckers that I love and I really like a lot. They're like, I don't need to hear the Beach Boys right now. You know
But
what I'm
again,
saying?
And you
Yeah.
partying.
Do you
like,
think-
it's all
And
good?
then you partying like, yo, like just because I got George Floyd behind me, like it's all good.
I'm making
Do
a
you think-
difference.
do you
and, and once again, I don't think these people are racist. I don't think they're racist, and I think there's a level of ignorance, and I think there's a level of
Uninformed.
disconnect.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're disconnected, and they don't realize they disconnect. And I don't think they should be crucified, and I don't think they should be
Yeah.
judged or anything. But I do think they should be a little bit more aware of going on Twitter and saying this is uncalled for. I'm with Black Lives Matter, and then going on a live stream and just doing something completely inappropriate.
But maybe that stems from people pressuring other people to say something.
Exactly.
It's unaware. It's uninformed.
There's a bunch of motherfuckers that I love
And no
that
knock
were
to them.
tweeting out a bunch of shit, and I was like, "Damn, man, you ain't need to tweet that shit." You know
It's
what I'm saying? Like,
dude, it's the equivalent of me seeing all this shit happen and then calling Never like, yo, let me go clean your pool real fast, and it felt like I did something for a black person. Like the equivalent of that is like that. Me cleaning his pool, me tweeting this is not gonna make the situation any better.
I don't know. Maybe cleaning a black man's pool does help the situation.
right?
No, but it's like,
I feel.
no, but I'm
Never's
saying,
like, I feel much better
I
about
know,
it.
right? My shit is clean.
some people cope. Some people cope by ignoring the situation,
yeah.
and I think maybe that's kind of what they're doing.
Nah,
just by saying, like,
I think
some people when they
no.
deal with death, they cry, they address it. Other people shut down and just ignore it and act like it didn't happen.
That's
You know what I mean?
crazy. Yeah.
So I think, like you
Nah,
said,
I
they're
think
not
what,
bad people.
I think what you're talking about is very different
In what
from
way?
disconnected and being indifferent. I think indifference is a completely different thing from being disconnected.
But
as far as like if they're playing like music and acting like this shit is not going on.
Yeah.
No, I think,
I think that's a level of disconnect. I don't think that's indifference.
or maybe that's the way they're coping. We don't know. We don't know how these people are processing.
Because
shit.
even if like I was having a conversation with my boy and I was like, yo, we're thinking about doing our Twitch. I think we're trying to go play some feel good music, just kind of like chill vibes. He's like, what you mean you're not gonna play like fuck the police and all this? And just hearing him say it made me feel hella weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Oh.
I don't know which one is right.
We had an intention to go on Twitch and to actually talk, to have it be a forum so we could talk to certain DJs or anybody in our DJ community,
Or
to speak
listenership.
about, and our followers, our listeners, to talk about what's going on. And I spoke with y'all and I said we won't do most of the talking. Let these motherfuckers talk,
Right.
and let's play some music that can maybe be somewhat healing during this time.
Right.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers mean the listeners and
The
the
listeners,
people in the
yes.
chat. Yeah.
But honestly, man, I don't know, man. I call everyone motherfucking. And I gotta stop it, but like
That's
I
because
gotta
you,
come up with
you
something.
did that and you pointed towards them, and I was
know.
like, let me clarify that out.
But to be honest, I mean, it didn't seem appropriate as things started to escalate, and
It
it's
got
like
worse. Yeah.
honestly, I think it's a better time for everybody to just reflect and really absorb what's going on right now.
Yeah.
That's why I really don't need to hear from anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and even me myself, like, you know, anything can happen on Twitter. You know, like me going at this dude, Corey Towns, when I was in complete agreement with him. But, you know, like I just don't think that we should give these people power like Ronnie Fig. We shouldn't give these people power like, but I don't think expecting that type of motherfucker to say something like that when I know he used to take advantage of like up and coming brands. He used to just try to get free product for them and pocket all the profits.
Yeah.
When me myself, I had a store myself. Obviously, my store wasn't as big as Kith, but we were known for like putting no-name brands on.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and,
A lot.
and we never wanted to like not pay them. I always saw it as a partnership. Like me and Nev, I mean, how many brands did we put on
A lot of brands.
Yeah.
And then-
Before they blew up.
before they blew up? And
Yeah.
and no one will ever admit like when we like every time like the magic show would come to Vegas, everyone would see what new brands we got, and some of them would try to steal the brands from us.
Yeah.
But every new brand we got, it was like it didn't always have a big name on it, and we believed in the brand. One example would be Daily Paper from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically like an African brand, and I love that brand so much. Even to this day, they're huge right now. They're blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
But everyone, like, no one wanted to fuck with them, and we fuck with them, and they blew up so big, yo, and so fast.
Yeah.
There's so many brands that we fuck with that were no names that we put on, and it became a partnership. We made more money, they made more money. We put more money into their photo shoots, and it was just like an amazing partnership. And then
Yeah.
when you look at like some of these successful businessmen like Ronnie Fig and Kith, and how he took advantage of his power to take advantage of these up and coming brands.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to tell somebody I'm placing an order, but I'm not going to pay for anything, and I'm going to pocket all the profits? And if that goes well, I might place another order after that,
That's crazy.
It might pay you.
and might
Might
pay you.
You might get some.
You know what I'm
cheese.
You might
saying?
get money, yeah.
And
Who uses that? To me, that it is an abuse of power. So how would you expect someone like that? Like, what would be the value of hearing someone like that speak about social injustice? Do you understand what I mean?
because there's no moral or ethics.
And not only
behind
that,
the
it's like
business.
if he did come out with a statement, or if he came out with a collection that people were like, "Oh my God, that touched me so much, your collection and everything." Where did it come from? Did it come from a place of good?
No.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's the shit that bothers me.
Yeah. Well,
Because
I think-
I know the practices of some of these people.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I know, and like we know some of these DJs up close. We know them in person.
yeah.
Yeah.
We know some of them are assholes in real life, and everyone worships them and thinks they're the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? We know some of the other dudes that people kind of overlook who are the actual GOATs. So everyone's perception is fucked up, and they're championing the wrong people, yo.
Well,
in my eyes. And it's like, why do we keep expecting these people who are false idols to speak on real shit?
Because the fact that we've become a society where money just gives you a voice, and so people think because
Yes.
he has money,
Yes.
he has a voice in the matter. Like for
Because he's
instance,
successful.
he has a voice.
He has a- he has
When
a
he's
place.
the absolute wrong person to have a
Right.
voice. No knock against anybody, but I heard ESPN this morning. They're like, "Oh, Tom Brady posted." No offense to Tom Brady, I don't need to hear from him.
Yeah.
Like he's great at what he does, but that doesn't mean he has a voice in this.
Absolutely.
And that
But
doesn't
because
it doesn't mean he's a better person.
You know what-
Exactly.
you know what's crazy? I was shocked that Jordan gave a statement because never have it like Darren's face. Never have I seen
you-
Jordan give a fucking.
You
statement.
know he didn't write that shit.
You
though.
know-
Yeah, but it's a statement from his camp, and you never see this shit. So when I read that, I was like, "This is weird reading this," and that he put this shit out.
You know what's deep about that?
What?
I really feel that the reason he gave a statement was because of the Last Dance, because they went at him for not having a political voice in the Last Dance.
Yeah.
I can
And
see
this was
that.
his opportunity to have a voice.
To
But
make
that
up
was
make up
weird.
for that.
Yeah,
Like when Killer Mike went up there, expected it.
yeah.
But when Michael Jordan did it, I was like, "Fam, I did not expect this, and I didn't need this shit." But again, like,
So wait, you didn't appreciate his statement.
no, because I didn't need it.
You were shocked by it.
I was shocked by it, and I'm a Jordan Nike.
So you think he
consumer.
was forced?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think so.
It was forced because he never
I
done
think he felt
this shit.
obligated. He felt obligated.
He's never given back. Well, again, maybe he has in the behind the scenes, but like, there's an ongoing joke like, "Fuck them kids." Like Jordan doesn't give a fuck about kids.
Just
yeah,
buy,
and
just
his
buy
famous,
sneakers.
his famous statement was Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah,
So that's always been Jordan. Like,
Yeah,
he's
that's what
never
I'm saying.
He's
Like-
always been very diplomatic.
So when I saw that, I was like, why I don't need this. Same thing with the NFL going out. I'm like, yo, Goodell, shut the fuck up because you never did this shit 4 years ago when Carlin was taking a knee somewhere. Like, y'all banned him and blackmailed this guy. Then now you want to give a fucking statement? Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking nuts.
I kind of want to talk about Derek Chauvin. I mean, this dude he's getting what? He was arrested on third-degree murder, which is basically manslaughter, which is what, in a sense, you gotta what?
Let me put it on mine. Finally, this shit comes to you.
Let me see. So wait, Jamie supposedly has a degree.
Supposedly, I printed it out. I made it on Photoshop.
Has a degree in what? What is it?
And criminal justice.
In criminal justice.
Bachelor.
I don't believe.
I
this
gotta
shit.
see that shit. I don't believe you, man.
That's gonna be the cover for this. No, I'm just playing.
I'm not putting that. So wait, I want to know what is basically third degree is involuntary manslaughter. What is it?
It's basically like
First degree is premeditated. murder.
premeditated. You knew what you was doing. Like, you got the gun and you
I wanted him dead.
wanted him dead.
Second degree is kind of in the heat of passion.
Yeah.
It's accidental, right?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
So it can be self-defense. It can
Self-defense.
be.
Yeah, I mean, this thing, it's very thin lines amongst all these degrees.
So when, let's say me and Darren got into a fist fight, he beat the shit out of me so bad that I died. That would be second degree murder.
Yeah.
Now, if I was driving a car, which I wouldn't drive a car, but obviously, but in this imaginary world we live in, if I was driving a car and Neva and Dee were in the car and I crashed the car and they died,
Manslaughter.
that would be manslaughter, which would be third degree murder.
Okay, third degree is basically drunk driving. You hit somebody, you kill somebody, that's drunk driving. Because you had the malice of driving, knowing that this shit is dangerous.
Taking a risk.
Yes. Manslaughter, I'm driving, and so happens fucking
Right.
me and somebody else getting in an accident.
No, knowing full well I put other people's lives in danger.
That's third degree.
That's
The
third degree
manslaughter
murder.
is me and him getting in a car accident and he dies.
Okay.
Accident. Like it was
Where-
no malice, no
It wasn't
premeditated.
intentional.
Manslaughter is basically you don't really have any. You're not accused of anything
Yeah.
because it was just bad.
No control.
It
No
was
control.
like bad place, bad time.
Yeah. But then there's like really, really thin lines where if somebody comes into your house and you do self-defense and they're in your property, in your space, that can be considered manslaughter as well.
So first degree, second degree, third degree. Obviously,
he
first.
should have got first degree. It's what we're trying to get to here.
Yeah, for sure.
Third degree is a very, they were trying to save him.
That's being nice.
Yeah, that's being nice. And this is me, like I have a criminal justice degree. All my teachers, all my professors, all people that tutor me were all LAPD, ex-LAPD, or ex-law enforcement, or current law enforcement. So I see why they can give him third degree, because they're trying to protect their own.
Yeah, it's a cop.
As a cop,
Like he was doing his job, but it was excessive. If anything, he should have gotten second degree murder.
he should have got first.
I mean,
First
yeah,
or
he should have
second.
gotten, but at the least, he should have gotten second degree.
because he knew putting his knee in somebody's windpipe.
Right.
And by the way, one of my teachers, one of my professors, he was in charge. He was instructor at the LAPD Academy, which they teach you how to arrest somebody, how to detain somebody, how to do this shit.
Yeah.
And when the Eric Garner situation happened with the chokehold, he was like, "We don't teach that. We don't teach.
Yeah, there's no chokehold move, right?
There's no chokehold move, and there's nowhere where you can put somebody to sleep or make them unconscious.
Right.
That's why you have a stun gun. That's why you have handcuffs.
Right.
So when somebody put your knee on somebody's neck, you know they can choke.
Right.
So he should have got.
And that choking shit has been illegal and has I mean, since Do the Right Thing, when fucking
Radio
Raheem got choked out
to death.
Yeah. So this is they're trying to protect their own again.
And that movie was when 1990
1988.
88.
Yeah.
And look, what is that? Fuck. I mean, 30 years later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still relevant. That's fucking.
So they don't teach you to do shit like that. Like when somebody's handcuffed. By the way, they detain him for a fraudulent $10 bill. So
That ended up being real.
that ended up being real. When you have somebody like that, there's steps. When you put him in handcuffs, down on the floor, boom, he's there. There's no fucking way he's gonna escape from you. There's 4 other officers.
Right. But here's the question that I want to know.
What's up?
They want to arrest the other 3 officers.
Yeah.
Rightly so. What is the culture of cops to protect one another?
Of course, it's like a gang.
It's a gang, and they never want to admit that anyone is in the wrong
Right.
in public. Is that ever? Do you think that could ever change?
I don't think so.
Well, it's because they're still going back to the office.
But the thing is, on Twitter, you're seeing videos of a lot of black officers, black chief of police, even white chief of police that were kneeling. I mean, in a perfect world, right, with the protests, in a perfect world, the police would have been escorting the protesters.
Right.
They would have been monitoring them and escorting them to safety.
They should have given.
They should have been with them instead of against them.
Exactly. Yeah.
They should have been kind of with them, sound like, we got your back. Keep doing what you're doing. And honestly, any cops that were getting emotionally involved, who were feeling angered by what the protesters were saying, should have gotten sent home.
I don't think the
shouldn't have been
culture.
there.
I don't
shouldn't
think the
have been
culture is going to change. And here's my opinion on why. In the police culture, I feel like there's a code that they live by to where they need to be able to trust each other.
Right.
And if they feel for a second that they can't trust you, they're going to isolate you. And I think all those guys feel like they can trust each other and have each other's back. And that creates that culture of not saying when I did something wrong or
Right.
holding each other accountable.
It's basically
It's-
turning the cheek.
Yeah, it's sad because if you look at any other profession, the law profession, you have the bar that holds you accountable. In the medical field, you have certain things that you can lose your medical license.
Yeah.
You can lose, you know what I mean? Like when you're a firefighter, all these other professions, but it's just for whatever law enforcement, there's such a tight knit that they're going to always keep each other accountable and they're not going to allow anything to infiltrate that.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing is I don't know how you're going to break that culture.
Yeah, because
They have to.
No, yeah. I mean, it goes back to. I mean, I grew up in Silver Lake, and where I live at, part of Silver Lake, it's under the jurisdiction of the Rampart Police Department. If anybody knows the Rampart Police Department is the most corrupted police department in LA. And because of Rafael Perez. I don't know if you guys know who Rafael Perez is.
No.
Basically is
Rafael Perez.
Rafael Perez. Basically, you guys seen the movie Training Day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he was as a cop is
How Denzel was.
that, yeah. Basically, Denzel
So
was,
Rafael Perez was Denzel Washington in Training Day.
yes, and he was
Like a corrupt fucking cop.
yeah. He was also like he goes back to he probably killed Biggie Smalls. He was
okay.
just a bad cop, right?
He was the dude with the mustache, right?
Yeah, the Puerto Rican guy with the red suit. So what it was, one of my main professors, the same one that was teaching at the academy, was his instructor, and he taught him the ethics and the morals and everything as a cop. So when Rafael Perez got caught up stealing drugs about $800,000 worth of cocaine from the evidence room and shaking down the gang members, taking their drugs and selling it back to them. Like, there's that code that people say, oh, well, cops are going to be cops, this and third. No, there's actual... There's like,
the code of silence.
Yeah, the code of silence. Mm-hmm. And Rafael Perez did that shit. So in this case, he took down, when he got caught, he took 77 other officers from the same police department with him when he got caught up with that, doing that shit. So there's
because everyone has different levels of dirt, right? One may have fucked up on an arrest and someone covered for them.
Yeah.
And another may have fucked up on something larger.
Right.
But everyone has dirt on somebody for something fucked up. And then, yeah, I mean,
so there's a thin line of who's what in the police department. Everybody knows who's corrupt and this and that and the third. But maybe if you're corrupt, but you know some shit about me, yo, you don't know it, I don't know it, we keep it the same.
well, it's also one of those things is that, like, I don't know if you guys know about Serpico, Frank Serpico.
Yeah.
Like the movie, also Serpico, you know, when there's a serious call and let's say you're in the middle, like you're one of those good cops that really isn't corrupt at all. And people are kind of shaky, think that you might be telling them with internal, what is it?
Internal affairs.
Internal affairs, or they don't really know, like they're like, yo, I can't really trust that dude. They can put you on harm's way and not come for backup when you need backup.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of that shit happens with cops to the point where they're like, look, my life is on the line because I'm not playing game with all these other cops. They're not gonna have my back when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
They're gonna let me get shot, or they're gonna leave me alone and not call
No-
for
no
come
type
for
of
backup.
backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's the scary thing about this culture is that how do you break that cycle? You still want to have a cop's back. You want them to have each other's back and be able to trust each other. But when you have dirt, it's like this guy may snitch on me, so I don't necessarily want to have him in my precinct, or I don't want to have him in my squadron riding with me because I know in any moment if I do something a little shaky, he might go to the internal affairs.
Right.
I don't know if I want to fuck with this dude, and they isolate him, and then you know what I mean. It's all kinds of shit. How do you change that culture? Like, where does it even start?
Because even going back to what happened when three other officers are standing next to him while he has his knee on Floyd, is like, fam, like
They had his back.
they had his back, and then there was two other ones on his lower back, like pressuring him down. Like,
Not even looking concerned.
But not only
Yeah.
that, they did look concerned to me. Like the Asian dude looked concerned, but at the same time, he could have been a superior officer. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
And they all kind of look like we're following his lead.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they all look kind of younger than him.
Yeah,
Than David
definitely. Yeah.
Chauvin or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
Chauvin.
Chauvin.
Yeah.
They all look younger than him. So it looked like they were following his lead.
But
Yeah.
you saw recently they had footage of they had George Floyd in the backseat of the car and they was beating him up.
Yeah.
Before they had him on the floor.
Yeah. And then the Asian guy was just looking at him.
It really, I don't know, man. I feel like there's maybe probably more to the story than we know.
And then also Derek
Chauvin.
Just call him Officer Chauvin.
Chauvin and George Floyd, they knew each other. They did security together.
They worked together.
Yeah, but they were
Supposedly.
saying that what they were saying that there isn't any, there's no
Connection.
evidence
Exactly, yeah. Because at
of
first
them knowing each other.
At first they said it was a restaurant. Then they said they did
was a
security
nightclub.
a nightclub. So yeah.
No, but then even I think the owner of the nightclub said they didn't know each other.
Exactly,
Because it was
yeah.
two totally different
Shifts.
So I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a small world, but I mean, you saw that motherfucker's rap sheet, and you tell me that's not a normal rap sheet.
Dog.
No,
That's not a
I
normal
know.
record for a police officer, right?
He should have been
No, he
kicked
should
out
have
in
been
08.
fired. Yeah.
he had a nasty one in 08. It was bad. Since 08, he's been trouble.
But that's what I'm saying is like,
He
yo,
shot an unarmed black man in 2008.
yeah, he should have been gone since then.
and that's the thing is that they're not holding, like, there's one thing to be like, look, we protect our own, and there's another to be like, yo, we're protecting absolute fucking criminals.
And also, I mean, I'm not making I'm not shooting no bell, but it's also, these are smaller cities than the cities that we're from. LAPD, 5 million people. There's a lot of police departments. New York has the biggest police department in the States.
Right.
So there's more of a personal thing in these smaller cities because everybody knows each other.
Right.
So I'm gonna shoot him more bell. I'm gonna give him a little bit more slaps on the wrist. I'm gonna give them more of this because in LAPD shit don't fly, and NYPD shit don't fly. You're out. There's 50 other candidates ready to go. So basically it. And there's somebody in the bottom rank coming up for your shit. But it's these smaller cities that you can get away from with shit. That's why you never hear something happen in Las Vegas or New York or any of these fucking big cities because shit's not gonna happen.
It's weird because even on Instagram and social media, I was noticing a lot of like Vegas locals, a lot of people in our industry,
Yes.
in the nightlife industry, were on the side of like Las Vegas police, just saying like, yo, like these protesters, you know, like it's a waste of time. What are they doing here? Like George Floyd isn't even from Vegas. Like he's in Minneapolis. Why are they doing this here?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And you could just tell that there's a disconnect, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unawareness.
Where
It was
motherfuckers.
like you said, people we knew that they was commenting on like crazy shit, like, oh, they should be doing something. Oh, they have nothing else better to do.
Yeah,
than
that
to
shit was
protest.
wild.
I'm not gonna name names, but I know the guy that said that, and that like
Same.
really disappointed me. I was just like, wow, this motherfucker really said that shit.
Yeah. And even people commenting, I posted a video of Cuomo, and the reason why I posted that Cuomo video is because
He did well.
I mean, he spoke so clearly about the situation that there is no way you can argue with it. You know, like this is not a one-time incident. And that was the thing that I got from it. This is a chapter in a long fucking history
Book.
and a book that is never ending and has no conclusion at all. And of course there's going to be protests. Like this shit has hit the fan.
Yeah, you're just continuing to open up the same wound over and over
and over again, and then,
trying to cover it up with different things, not ever letting it heal because the underlining shit has never been addressed.
and I agree with a lot of my friends and a lot of the people that are saying the looting and the property destruction is a distraction to the bigger
Picture.
to the bigger message and the bigger problem,
Exactly.
which is like, which is black men are getting killed
Yeah.
on camera, and there's no consequence for it at all. No. And that's really what the story is. And how could you argue with that? How could you even bring up looting and all of that shit? Like, of course we don't want looting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't deter us from the actual message or what's going on. You
And
know
why
what I mean?
this is all happening.
Yeah, and I just think there's a disconnect, and we gotta. These people who don't know this shit are ignorant,
Yeah.
and it's our job to educate them on this shit.
Yeah.
In a civil and kind way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depending on how fucking civil and kind they are, obviously. But it's one of those things where I think about it sometimes and I'm like, yo, what kind of industry am I in? You know, like, what kind of world am I working in right now?
Yeah.
Where this is like, they don't understand this shit
Yeah.
at all. And they're on the side of like, Las Vegas PD. Like, Las Vegas PD should be on the side of the protesters, yo.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to fight about. Like, there's nothing to argue about, yo. Just to think, like, if motherfuckers break the law and kill innocent people, they should go to jail.
Right.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And everyone's like, well, what are y'all protesting for? The killer got arrested. And I'm like, the motherfucker only got arrested because they were protesting,
Exactly.
yo.
Because there was a video of it.
Not only that, but like motherfuckers like that, those trials last forever, yo.
Yeah.
They don't actually get a charge for like a year sometimes.
Yeah. Shit, the
No,
Rodney
that
King
shit
thing
drag.
went on for 2
It's
years.
3
Yeah.
years sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like the fact that he got charged and arrested in like a span of like this weekend, right after the protest, that's the fastest fucking
Yeah.
arrest charge
Yeah.
I've ever seen on a crooked cop.
Yeah. And it's more so
Yeah.
because this shit was hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was
that's
like,
why, of course.
okay, if we put them away now, all right, cool. This shit's going to calm down.
The pressure was on that DA in Minnesota and the governor. And I think a part of the frustration too is that we tried peaceful protesting and we saw where that got us. And so this is the aftermath of the peace.
But
Like,
they've been peacefully protesting since fucking Trayvon Martin. That's 8 years
Yeah.
ago.
I mean, 2016.
And so what do you
Was the-
expect?
was
you
the
don't
biggest-
you don't acknowledge the peaceful protest. What other options is there?
Yeah.
Yo, 2016, the shit was hitting the fan,
Yeah.
right? Black Lives Matter was everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It if you didn't see like I'm seeing all of these memes and I'm seeing all these videos and all of these quotes that came up in 2016, and I'm like, yo, that's dope, but that shit ain't helping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing over and over again, and everyone's retweeting the same quotes and the same memes and the same videos and shit.
They was doing them back in 2016.
What's her name? Jane Elliott, right? Is it Jane Elliott? But yeah, I mean, I've seen that video tons of times. I've seen that.
I remember you showing me that video.
Yeah.
When back in 2012 or 13, some shit like that. Yeah.
It even looks old.
Yeah, it's from like the 90s and I don't know when the fuck it's from. 2000s.
They keep bringing it back.
But I'm saying like look, that should be spread and it should be an awareness thing. But it's like, I really hope this isn't some tactical thing for election year, which I'm thinking it is, because the same shit happened 4 years ago in 2016 election year.
2012.
You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of crazy to me that this is all happening on election year.
Right, because we're not even
And
talking about.
And Black Lives Matter is coming up again. And then what happened with Colin Kaepernick, right?
2016.
NFL. What happened with that, yo? You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing's happened. Nothing's changed, yo.
Yeah. What's scary to me also is that I don't know, you guys seen Made in America, the O.J. Simpson documentary, the 30 for 30?
I saw some of it.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they were talking about after the verdict, when he was acquitted,
Yeah.
the police went even harder. Like, they went even harder at African Americans and arrests, and like everything went up like a crazy percentage. And it's like it's a vicious cycle. Like, all this is gonna do is entice more brutality, because they're gonna look at people when they get pulled over as violent. They're gonna look at all these things. They're gonna remember these protests.
They're gonna see them as the enemy, yo.
Yeah. So when they get pulled over now, it's like even scarier, and it's just gonna be a consistent cycle.
But what do you do, man? Like, what do you do with the youth? Because the youth is out there, right?
They don't give two fucks, bro.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this is
That shit is
this is the thing that I loved about Killer Mike's speech. There's a lack of leadership out there.
Yes.
There's a youth that are passionate. They want to make some change. They don't know how to make change, yo. There was a tweet about one of the kids who robbed round 2, and he looted that shit. And the next day, while the owner was assessing the damage to his store, one of the kids went back and gave him the shit back. And he was like, I don't know why I took it. And it just goes to show you the misplaced anger and the direction that this youth is going in. They need leaders to like lead them in the right way, yo.
There's no guidance.
There's no guidance at all. And there's all this passion and they want to make a difference, but no one's telling them what's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And if you got it, and like Bobby Hundred said, the past 10 to 20 years, we've been brainwashing these kids to think that only thing that matters is success, is building a brand,
Status.
and your status and product and all of these things. And it's like, yo, like that shit does not matter at all, yo. I mean, it kind of matters, but it doesn't really matter in the long scheme of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like, it's funny that this happens this year, right? It's like,
God
if there's so much happening this year.
Yeah.
It just won't stop. It just keep going and
I
going.
mean, we're
and
slowly
going, man.
reaching November. Will be here in a few months.
Dude, we're
And
barely in
not
June
talking
today.
We're not talking about anything election wise.
And there's
Like,
there's no candidates that represent us at all.
Yeah.
No.
None of them. Biden is like, I don't know like how to explain that. That's like, it's like if I'm calling a cab and a horse and wagon comes up, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take the horse and wagon.
I gotta get to work.
But you know what I'm
You
saying?
gotta get
And
to
it's
where
like-
you're going.
Even if 90% of the population votes, it's like, who do you trust? And then there's so many politics within the politics. There's so many money exchanging hands. Like,
Yep.
I could have the most morals ever, but if someone comes for me and say, hey, I have $1 million for you to push this agenda, my morals may go out the window.
Yeah.
And that's scary. You know what I mean?
But
We
don't you
talked
think?
about this
But
before.
don't you think that's exactly what America gets for pushing individualism?
Yeah.
Even though individualism is important, we've spent so many decades saying how being individuals is like what sets us apart from everybody. But now we can't even come together. It's impossible for us to come together. Even when I look at the protests and everything that's going on, there isn't even a unified movement in the protests.
Yeah.
Because everyone's looking at these protests, right? There's actual people who care, who were stopping property damage, who were stopping looting. They were there to protest and to fight for social injustice, for Black Lives Matter. Then you had looters in there, right? And looters were there mixing up with people. I mean, there were stories of there was all these stories in LA of like all the looters were like rich white kids pulling up in Range Rovers and Teslas from other neighborhoods coming to loot all of these stores.
Yeah.
Bro, I saw Fairfax. I saw a BMW i8 pull up and hit Soul Stage, one of the consignment sneaker stores in the block. But a BMW i8 is a $150,000 car.
Yeah, and there's even stories of white supremacists that are out there just fucking shit up because they know they'll be blamed.
Exactly.
Anarchists doing that as well.
Anarchists. There's all this blame on like what is it, Antifa?
Yes.
Which is like an anti-fascist group. And I don't know shit about them. I talked to Ross Warren a little bit about it. And basically it's a fascism group, but they're like not even a threat. But obviously Trump is going to make them seem like they're the cause of all of this shit.
Yeah.
But there's so
that's
many
what he's pointing
there's
at.
so many hands at play, and there's so many agendas, even with these protests. It's like we can't even come together to protest.
No.
It isn't even like a simple black against white. There's just so many things at play with people manipulating everything. And it's like nothing is clear.
Yep.
And everyone has an opinion. Everyone's like, you know, some people were talking to me like, how could you support these rioters? How could you support these rioters? They're mixing up rioters with looters and protests. And I'm like, yo, fam,
Totally different.
you're mixing a bunch of people up. You know what I'm saying? That you're classifying them in the wrong categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the message gets all fucked up. Now you have a whole bunch of people with a bunch of opinions, and they're losing sight of the actual message, the big message, and that's what they want. You know what I mean? In the end, is that they want all of this shit to destroy America even further.
Yeah.
In my opinion, everyone has an agenda.
Yeah. And that's the same thing that happened with Kaepernick. Like the message got so lost. All it became about was him being disrespectful because he's kneeling at an NFL game. When the message was talking about exactly what's going on is police brutality.
Injustice.
Innocent people losing their lives at the hands of police officers. That whole message got erased because all it became about was him kneeling.
Disrespecting.
And that's almost the same narrative we're looking at now is the message is being lost because we're so concerned with the aftermath and the rioting and all that thing. But those are the things that America kind of created with this false sense of freedom, the false sense of security, all these things that we're supposed to, like freedom and justice supposed to be for all, but it's really not. All these things are just lies. They're just smoke and mirrors. And people are fed up and they're emotional and it comes out in the form of rioting.
Yeah.
And all these other countries are looking at us like, wow, America was full of shit.
And they're falling apart. They're looking at us like, yo,
Like, look at these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers are a mess.
Well, we are a young country. That's why we get pinpointed and we look stupid and we're the young kids on the block. That's what it is.
We're the young kids on the block.
We're the young kids on the block.
The young nation.
We're the
on
young
block.
nation. We're the youngest country.
And then what's crazy is like all this shit is going down. Where's Donald Trump? I haven't seen one
I got a
thing.
tunnel, baby.
But who cares, man? Like, who
But we
listens
need
to this
our
motherfucker?
president. We need a president.
Our president. It's
Unfortunately, yeah.
I get tired. I get tired of motherfuckers who keep going to the same people to disappoint us. At this point,
It's the same thing you were preaching earlier.
yeah, it's like, why do we keep going? Like, you know who Donald Trump is for the last 4 years, if not before
it's
that.
fucked up.
Well, yeah,
Why do you
before
expect
that,
anything poignant to come out of this motherfucker? Like,
Yeah.
of course not. So, like,
Nah, just to give you an example, like how fucked up we are right now as a country.
Dude, the way the White House got lit up last night was crazy.
which what?
The White House, when they were like outside being protested and they basically turned off all the lights at the White House. It was fucking crazy. Like, I've never seen the White House like that.
No, never.
That shit looks distressed.
I've never thought that people could take over a precinct and set it on fire.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of shit that I never thought was gonna happen that I seen this past weekend. This year alone.
I hate to say it, but when I saw that precinct on fire, I was actually hopeful that change might come about because I feel like that was very humbling for the police to see,
Yeah.
and also to have some self-reflection. Like, yo, we fucked up. For the people to be so outraged that they burned our precinct down,
Yeah.
I felt like you have to have some type of self-reflection. You can't think these people are evil. But then when the looting started, it just became like, yo, like these people are animals.
It's a
like,
free for all.
Like, yo,
Bro, the way
know
they
what
were
I'm saying?
throwing
Like-
shit at cop cars, burning them shits up, that shit was crazy.
And I don't want to see in the media that it was all black people because it wasn't all black people.
No, it wasn't.
no, it wasn't.
It was all.
And that's gonna be muddled. You
Of
know
course,
what I'm saying?
yeah, definitely.
Because I was hearing the exact opposite. There was a lot of fucking white kids doing a lot of the looting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it on the videos.
Even Ross One in Santa Monica, he said he was at the protest, and he saw a bunch of white kids just like antsy, just like waiting to loot some shit.
They looted a van store. I don't see no brothers looting a van store.
The only brother that
You're not gonna find too many brothers in Santa Monica.
Maybe a
period.
Nike, but not a van.
Did you say you even saw someone in New York who saw all the people robbing the shit in Soho?
Yeah, my girl, she works at a bar that's near the gift shop,
Yeah.
and they have cameras outside. And she was like showing me the cameras, like you could see the kids like coming out the gift store with like bags of shit. They just like, and it was like all white kids, just like going rummaging through the clothes that they just took out from gift.
that shit's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
seeing that shit in Soho last night really hurt, man. Cause I
Yeah, I saw they went to the what was it, StockX?
they broke
That's
into
right.
StockX.
StockX,
They broke into
the
Kid.
the Rolex shop.
The Rolex shop. Anybody
That
can
was
get
crazy.
It was like I like hung out that area like all my life. Hung out there around there just to see what was going on. It was just like, damn. This
When
shit,
I saw the Rolex, I was like, damn.
I mean, they broke
That's-
into in LA, didn't they break into a Mercedes Benz
Yeah,
dealership?
they were stealing fucking G wagons,
G
bro.
wagons and 6 Series is just coming out. Like, where they, how?
250,000 cars. It's fucking insane, bro. Look,
Look
listen.
look like a scene out of Gone in 60 Seconds.
I can relate to Neva because when I seen Fairfax, the way Fairfax looked, I was like, what the fuck? Even so, I'm not a big fan of them, and it's a hate and love relationship with Flight Club, but seeing Flight Club get hit like that, I wasn't.
See all them broken windows. It's like, and it's gonna be boarded up. It's gonna look abandoned.
It's gonna look. Yeah, it looks like a fucking war zone.
Yeah.
Melrose looks crazy, but seeing Flight Club, the way Flight Club, the love and hate relationship everyone has with Flight Club in the sneaker world because of the high prices and the way they carry themselves, yo, they lost a lot of fucking money Saturday at Flight Club. Like, I know consigners, like I was saying, one of my buddies, he has 26 shoes at Flight Club. Or it was actually 44 shoes. I'm sorry, 44 shoes, equivalent to $26,000, all fucking gone. And it's like, I'm like, fan. He's like, dude, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
That's lost.
And that's lost. And that's one consigner.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way these resellers are gonna get the insurance, even the insurance money. I mean,
Even
never. We went through insurance. We got burglarized at New a few times.
Yeah, but they took a couple of things. They didn't take. They didn't rob the whole store.
But even still, the insurance only covers a portion of that shit.
Like
Yeah.
maybe 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riff said, yo, people have this misconception about all these stores having insurance.
Yeah.
But they're only gonna cover 20% of $1 million. So
That's $200,000.
that's only $200,000.
Are they going to be open up or?
Well,
Here's the question: would you want to open up if they robbed New? Would you want to open up?
I think we will open up. If they
You
would
think
have,
so?
if that would happen to us, yeah, we would be open.
it's an in-house. You guys are in-house brand. These are stores that carry other people's product.
I mean, we carry
was
other
carrying-
people's
yeah,
product too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And we had an in-house brand, but me and Ever would have been like Nicky Diamonds. Nicky Diamonds stayed.
Shout outs to him.
Shout out to
Nicky
Diamond
Diamonds.
Supply.
Yeah.
Nicky Diamonds.
And Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Both of those guys.
Hall of Fame. Those motherfuckers stayed in their store.
And the rooftop, they were throwing shit at people like.
Were they?
No, not throwing shit, but like, yo, like like we're here, like fam.
I honestly think even if me and Never we stood out there, you know, I don't think motherfuckers would have looted the shit.
But it would have been more than just us. We would have had like a whole crew of
It would have been us.
motherfuckers there.
We would have been there with bats.
But the whole thing is the intention of us being there would be obviously to protect our business.
Yes.
But it wouldn't be for us to fuck people up either. It
No.
would just be
No,
to be
this would-
honestly to let motherfuckers know we are on the common ground as they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the misconception that motherfuckers have is like these store owners are like multimillionaires and they're making a ton of money, and
Of
a lot of
course.
them are. Some of them are just barely getting by, yo.
Yep.
If you're noticing, a lot of these huge corporations are just getting by too, because when the pandemic hit, they couldn't even survive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
like
yeah.
Riff
They-
LA was just getting back on their feet, doing the curbside pickup for a lot of their stores, and they got fucking hit like this. And
But I've been telling you, yo, retail, the concept of brick and mortar retail is dead. Do you understand? And it's dead for a bunch of reasons. There isn't a workforce there to work for retail anymore. And the way people consume products now is totally different. So everyone has to really find a new approach for how everything should be with retail.
Yeah.
And when people were looting like Soho and all of these rich places, I actually didn't give a fuck. Because I'm like, at least they're not destroying their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They're going to these rich neighborhoods and they're fucking it up. And it reminded me of like, I know this is dumb, like the Dark Knight Returns with Batman. Remember what Catwoman was telling him? Like, y'all had it so good for so long.
Yeah.
And there's a storm coming and shit.
Yeah.
Well, let me get that. Yeah. What did she say? There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne. You and your friends better batten down the hatches because when it hits, you're going to wonder how you ever thought you could live so large and leave so little for the rest of us.
yeah.
Yo, that is literally what the fuck happened this weekend, yo.
Yeah.
I think our whole approach on what America's built on is in question.
Has changed.
Everything, man. Like, nothing can be the same anymore. Can we go back to doing bottle service? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man.
Well, a lot of things anything looks unimportant right now.
And then with the protests going on, can this affect the second wave of the coronavirus?
Dude, everyone
it
forgot
will.
about
Everybody forgot about
I was
that shit,
thinking
man.
that too. I'm like, well, I wonder what, like, with all these people, thousands of people gathering, is that going to affect, like, the numbers? Because, I mean, shit, half the people are not wearing masks.
Yeah.
Like, they probably, that
They
was
was
probably
all
the last
together.
thing, that was
hanging
probably
out,
the
they
last
was all
thing on their
together.
mind is
They
wearing
wasn't-
masks. But
They
I'm
wasn't
like, yo,
6 feet apart.
people just didn't care
Looting.
anymore.
People were
Didn't care
handing out
anymore.
water bottles, sharing water bottles, bro. It's look at Cricket's face.
It's too much to take, man. It's just like, I don't.
Almost.
That's how I felt the whole weekend. I
Is
was
it
just
bad
like,
that that was one of the first things I thought? It was like, what up
Nah,
with,
that
with
shit,
COVID?
that shit look crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. man.
What if no cases spike up this next week?
That's impossible.
Imagine they don't.
It's impossible.
Then we're gonna start questioning so much.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a lot of questions.
exactly.
I'm
man.
gonna be like, yo, fam.
I already have a ton of questions. I have no answers. I don't know because I think it's possible to reform the police.
No, that's a.
You either gotta like fire everybody and start from the jump, and how is that possible?
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna get worse, like you just said, where after the Rodney King riots, right?
Yeah.
The police became more aggressive because they didn't feel like they were accepted anymore, and they really felt like the enemy.
Yeah.
And
they
then the
took it out
people
on the
became the
public.
enemy, right?
They took it out on
They
the
took
public.
it out. And we already saw that where a lot of police, and this is the thing, is that a lot of the police were instigating a lot of the violence.
They become
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
over aggressive.
Yeah. They were almost to the point where like the audacity of y'all motherfuckers to test us
Yeah.
and to question us. You know what I mean? Like, this is our city, kind of. That's the way
Yeah.
they kind of like treat it.
The way one of those cops shoved that young lady was just disgusting.
Yo, New York PD don't give a fuck. That's all I got.
They always
Bro,
been like that though.
They
That's
ran over
nothing new,
people,
man.
bro. That shit was nuts.
Yeah,
And the
like-
barricades, shit, man.
NYPD is no fucking joke.
Which you're right, they're like the nerve of you to like try
How
us, to
dare
test
you.
us, and test our authority.
You stepped up to us. Oh, cute.
Yo, I have a story. I was 10 years old. I have an uncle. He's well off. He's has a house in Palos Verdes, California. So anyone that knows Palos Verdes, it's way, what would you say, south?
No, it's more west.
More west, like southwest area of California, and it's a beautiful city that overlooks Catalina Island.
It's
So
money.
my uncle, it's mad money over there. My uncle lives there, and then so every year my family would have our family reunion there, and so at this beautiful park. So me and my cousins, I'm like 10 years old. We were like wandering around being kids. There's a store across the street. We wander to the store. It's like a 7-Eleven. It's 4 of us. We go in. We come out. There's cops waiting for us there. This white cop said that we fit the description of 4 black men that had just robbed the store. And we're 10. We're not even capable of robbing anything. They detained us for 2 hours.
Oh shit.
I was crying. My cousins were crying. It was ridiculous. They
Were y'all handcuffed?
no, they just set us on the curb, and they were like, it was like cops just standing over us, radioing, doing all this shit. Went and questioned the store, the guy that owned the store. He was like, "What are you talking about? They're like little kids. What do you mean they robbed the place?" No, we were there for literally 2 hours. They finally let us go, and like to this day, it kind of traumatized me. And so like to see all this stuff happening, I'm like, yo, like nothing's changed.
Well, how does it traumatize you? Like now?
I become fearful when I come in any kind of contact with police.
Do you get afraid when a cop is behind you?
Yeah.
When you're driving?
I've gotten pulled over a few times as an adult, speeding tickets or whatnot. But even then, like, I'm nervous.
Yeah. Same.
But even now more so, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, yo, like, they completely fabricated anything about us robbing the place, but that's the authority that they kind of have.
Right.
Like, they can make up this shit and turn it into a real thing, and that scares me as a black man in my 30s now. Like, I don't know what to expect in the middle of the night when I'm driving.
Same.
Right.
And
you
I get
drive a
pulled
nice
over.
and you drive a nice fucking car
Yeah.
too.
And so that scares me even more. It's like, yo, like, I could literally lose my life if I make
For nothing.
any kind of subtle moves.
And that's the thing that people who don't understand what Black Lives Matter mean.
Yeah.
It's the fact that if you tell them, if you had a black son, how safe do you think it would be for him to go out for a jog, to drive to work, drive to school?
Yeah.
You'd be worrying every fucking minute, every day. You'd have to teach him different ways of reacting to police and reacting to authority.
Yeah.
And I can't even think about that if I had a son who's black or a daughter who was black or whoever. How the public and how the police and everyone perceives them.
Yeah.
And how they have to react a certain way. How they, just to save their life, even if they did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Just the impression of who they look, who they are, the color of their skin.
What description they
Dude, I worry about my niece and nephew.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I was like upset this whole weekend, because they're out there in the streets. It's like something could have happened to them.
Yeah.
Because they're young and black.
And I live in an area where there's a lot of foot traffic, and for the past few weeks, I've been going up every day, and I'll run a mile, which is like a full circle around my complex. And even the last few days, I didn't even feel comfortable doing that. I'm like, let me just stay at home and just chill, because I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened.
I feel uncomfortable jogging around my neighborhood now because of all the shit that's going down.
Yeah.
I'm scared about the cops might fucking run up on me. I'm scared about running by somebody's house and they thinking, oh, this motherfucker gonna rob me. I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker.
Oh, he's running. What did he steal?
It's really, and it's the thing is, like, imagine having, never, like, I think about, remember the time when we had New and we were DJing late. We were like out till like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. We went to Rhino, then we went to Pho Kim Long. We got pho, Vietnamese food. It was probably like 5 or 6 a.m. And then we went back to our shop because we were like, let's call a cab from the shop.
Yeah.
And we waited in the shop, and we were in the shop with the lights off. And
No. The sun was up already.
Yeah.
The lights was up. I mean,
No,
the
lights
lights
were
was off, yeah, but the sun was up, yeah.
The sun was up. It was 6 a.m., so the sun
Yeah,
was up.
yeah.
But me and you, Never and I were in the store together. I went in the back stock room, and he was in the front, and the cops busted our door down. They thought we were robbing the store.
Yeah. And they pulled out the guns on me.
Yeah.
Because I was out. I was out by myself.
And they're like, get the fuck down. And then Never was like, probably a little half drunk. Yo, he was talking emotion. He's like, I own this motherfucker. I own this motherfucker. He's like, how dare you, motherfucker. And I was in the stock room, right? I was in the stock room in the back. And
Cricket was hiding. He didn't come out.
Whoa!
Fuck you, Cricket. He let me take the heat. I'm joking.
First off,
but you was back there for a minute.
you know what? No. Let me explain why I was back there. The first so when the cops broke in. No, this is real shit. When the cops broke in, I'm gonna be real with you.
He's shitting himself.
No. When the cops broke in, I thought we were getting robbed. I thought motherfuckers were robbing us.
Yeah.
So then I grabbed the bat, and I grabbed some other shit, and I grabbed the phone, and I looked to see who was out there, and I saw it was cops. And then I had the bat in my hand. I was like, "Yo, if I walk out with this bat,
They're gonna think
they're gonna shoot. They're gonna shoot
They
me."
had the guns out.
They had their guns out, and they're like, "Who's in the back? Come out!" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna come out. Hold on." And I was literally like, "Where do I put my hands? And how do I walk out?" So I don't, and I walked out in a really safe way. I was like, "Look, I ain't got nothing. We own the store. We own the shit. Here's and I think I had my business card in my hand." And I was like, "We're owners of the store. He owns that store." And Never was like, "I own this motherfucker." I remember I kept saying, "Never, shut the fuck up." I said, here's my card. And then, I don't know if they had me on the floor too.
No, they didn't have you on the floor.
I was on the floor. I was on the floor.
No, you weren't. Only
I was
Never
on
was.
Because by the time you gave him the card, they was like, all right.
I was on the floor though.
And they let me up on. I was on the floor. And then
I had to be on the. You was on the floor longer than me, okay? But I was on the floor.
Everybody who was on the floor longer here.
Yeah, because when I came in, I was and I had to get on my knees, and I went on the floor and I gave him the card.
Pause.
And then they're like, "Yeah, you can get up."
yeah.
But they started laughing. They were like, "Oh, they're like, hey, wait, man, we're sorry, man." And he was like, "Sorry for what, man? I own this motherfucker. I own this."
We have video of that, right?
We do have videos. Of it.
Oh,
But yo, how scary is that to have a gun put on you by a cop? Like that shit.
You know what? I think at the time it happened, like you said, we was just got through finished drinking, whatever. So I wasn't even thinking.
If we were sober, I think it would have been
we
way
would
more
have been
scary.
exactly, man.
But we were like kind of
Absolutely.
drunk.
Yeah,
We were kind of like we were a little tougher than usual. We were
exactly. Yeah,
liquor break, liquor courage guy going.
No,
Yeah.
but I was the whole time I was thinking. I was like, when I was walking out, I was like, how do I look? How do I look the least threatening?
Yeah.
Hands
You know
up.
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And
Hands up.
I hate to say this. Had I been, I don't know, another race besides Asian, maybe they would have been more forceful on me. Maybe they would have been more scared of me or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, yo, like even at that point, I was scared, but I was like, yo, man, it would have been way more scary if I was a different race, yo.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And that's the part that the media plays too, I think, because every cop, I don't care what race they are, I think when they see someone that they feel might have done something wrong and they see the race, they have a preconceived notion of what they think they're capable of.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah.
or what kind of a threat this
Yeah.
person is.
Yeah.
Can be or
Right.
is.
So they look at a Latino, or a black man or whatever, and they think the worst. I think they might be a little more violent, a little more aggressive. And they think they may have to use force to get their point across before anything, and I don't know what they might see when they have like a white man that's done a crime or whatever. Like they might look at a white man as a little less threatening and something someone that they could probably talk to
Yeah.
on a level playing field and get their point across that way. But with blacks, Latinos, and even maybe some Asians, they don't see that. They see
But like,
different things.
I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit because I think sometimes when you grow up poor, you don't have a lot of shit. I mean, obviously, we don't have a lot to live. When you're poor, you kind of think, I don't have much to live for.
Yeah.
And the only thing you have is pride. And to me, sometimes that pride can get you killed.
Yeah.
And because it's the only thing motherfuckers have when they're broke. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you see people in the black community or the Latino community or any poor communities, when they're kind of fighting against police and when they're not responding to police instructions or anything like that, sometimes it's a level of pride and anger towards these police officers because it's not the first time they've been pulled over
Right.
for some bullshit that they know they didn't do.
Exactly.
And they innocent. And that frustration is not always controlled, yo. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand when motherfuckers wild out when police are trying to like arrest them or do anything, like, yo, why don't y'all just cooperate? And it's like, yo, that's maybe the 8th time that's happened in like 2 years or more.
Yeah.
They're fed up.
And when you broke in nothing, the one thing that you want is just to have people treat you with respect
Yeah.
because you ain't got nothing else, right?
Yeah.
And that's honestly growing. Like I grew up fucking poor, and like the only thing I ever wanted was respect.
Yeah.
And I got my ass kicked many times, just out of respect, like, and you, at the time you don't think like, man, I got so much to live for, like I shouldn't be fighting over respect.
Yeah.
But when you there and you got nothing else, that's all you got, yo. Because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
protect
feel
what
like
you have.
motherfuckers don't understand that. And the only way you can really understand that if you was broke and you was growing up in that time.
You didn't have
because
anything.
when you do get hemmed up by the cops, like you said, it becomes a thing of your respect. You feel embarrassment. You feel ashamed. You feel like you're singled out.
Everyone's looking at you like you're a
Everyone's looking at
criminal.
you.
Right.
You could be doing nothing wrong, but people like look at you with a certain look, like they're shunning you, and that's completely. It's like taking a part of your manhood away from you, and the cop has all that power in their hands to do that, and it's just demeaning, and it's belittling, and you feel like less of a human. And
Yeah.
that's sometimes a lot of people don't recover from that. Like people's mentalities change when they get arrested in public,
Yeah.
and get embarrassed. Like they become hateful, and where does that energy go? You know what I mean? And it can end up with them doing something stupid. It can end up with them resenting cops and wanting revenge. You don't know how people handle those things. I don't think cops all see it that way all the time. All they see is, okay, he's a 19-year-old black man, 6'2". He's probably strong, maybe a little aggressive. I have to go in with this certain way of handling it. Let me be prepared so he doesn't do anything stupid. I'm gonna have to hem him up a certain way to make sure that I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think all cops are bad, but they definitely have a way of handling it that kind of like could be handled differently without going in with those preconceived notions.
Yeah.
But they're taught that, right, Jamie? Like I think a lot of times like they're taught that.
Well, self-defense is the main priority for all cops. If anything, if your life is if you feel your life is on the line, at any point you can pull that trigger.
Yeah,
it's what you're taught. And of course, you can come out with the stun gun. You can kind of, if nobody has a weapon, is your life really on the line?
But you know what I've noticed over in the past 5 to 10 years, I've noticed how more scared these cops look.
Yeah.
And how like they're just not trained well.
Yeah.
Again,
they don't know how to conduct themselves in these high pressure situations.
Some of these officers are not aware. Sometimes they pull the gun when they try to pull the stun gun. In the heat of the moment, they get nervous and they just pull out whatever the fuck they pull out. And that's what happened in Fruitvale Station when he thought he pulled out the taser, but he pulled out the real gun and killed, the gentleman at the station. At the I forget his name. I apologize.
In like Oakland or some shit.
Yeah, in
right?
Oakland, the Fruitvale Station situation. But again,
I mean, that was all kinds of levels of fucked up though. That was going on.
Yeah, that was like, when that shit happened, it's when shit like that happens, it's in the heat of the moment. You get nervous. You trying to fight for your life, quote unquote, depending on what the situation is. If in George Floyd's situation, the guy was handcuffed on the floor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like he was gonna run, handcuff his feet, restrain him a little bit more.
I feel like there's something deeper about that story that we don't know about.
I do think I think they know each other. Like, dude, 8 minutes.
That shit. But what they did to him reminded me of like some shit from Serpico when like the dirty cops were trying to pick up money from like criminals, like pay off money.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that. Like, oh, you ain't got no money. They used to fuck these criminals up,
dude. Yeah.
I'm not saying that George Floyd is a criminal.
No.
But I'm just saying like the way they were just like beating the fuck out of him. It's like George owed them some shit.
That's right.
Right?
They must have known him from somewhere.
It seemed like they were like torturing him for a reason. Like, like, yo, like either you owe us this or like what? Like I don't know what the fuck it was, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say that George is a criminal or anything. If anything, like we've been finding out more information about this motherfucker. He was like a rapper for DJ Screw.
Yeah.
In Houston.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think Rick Rubin spotted that shit, and then Questlove was asking questions on Twitter.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was.
Damn.
He was part of DJ Screw's like crew.
Yeah.
Dude, he grew up with Steven Jackson.
Former NBA players.
They look damn really the same. I thought it was the same
almost
dude.
exactly alike.
And
they called him twin.
I think the first time I heard about George Floyd was from that player,
from Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
who said like, "Yo, he was wearing the suit. I actually sent him or something." Like he was like,
he said he was trying to change his life. He had recently moved to Minnesota, or not recently.
He sent them a bunch of clothes, or he sent them money for clothes, and he said, and he was saying that was heartbreaking because that dude was changing his life, and it's just,
and it's like, dude, 8 minutes when you're in that position is an eternity.
Yeah, I saw that some UFC fighter said, "Yo, the chokehold more than 20 seconds feels very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a very tough."
Dudes tap out at like 5-10 seconds in the chokehold.
And George is telling him that he's choking, that he can't breathe. He can't breathe.
But then, exactly. What was the point of just leaving him there on the street for what? What were we waiting for? Why didn't they just put him in the back seat and leave?
Exactly.
Officer Chauvin, I'm guessing he's probably like 5'10", 6 feet. Maybe like 180,
he has
190,
to be at least 200 with all the gear.
Pounds. So that kind of force on his neck, bro.
Just the belt where they carry all this shit is 20 pounds.
But it was like a modern day lynching, no?
Oh, 100%.
It was his way of saying I could do whatever the fuck I want.
I could get away with it.
sit on his neck for 9 minutes,
bro.
And have y'all watch me and film me and do this shit.
He applied the pressure to his neck. Like you can see him sit on his knee.
Yeah.
and which is the more
And like
nasty
driving
part.
power into his neck, bro. Like,
and just sitting
and
there
he
like
had a
he
sense
was
of relaxation, like he
yeah,
knew.
like he was just like, yeah, I'm chilling here. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
8.5 minutes having that, and 2 of those minutes he was unconscious. But yeah, if you ever got choked, pause. If you ever got choked, fam, it's a very uncomfortable feeling, even for fucking 5 seconds. Imagine somebody, and that's with somebody's strained arm. Imagine your whole body on your windpipe of your neck for
that's
8
crazy.
fucking minutes. Come on, there's no, yeah,
And then imagine 2 people holding you down.
Yeah.
yeah. On the other side,
Fucking crazy.
and then people filming you, and yo, I can't fucking breathe. Like it's like you're.
But that's not the first time we've seen that.
No,
either,
not only
man.
that. No, not I know that, Crook. But the thing is, the cop, any human being, hearing somebody cry and beg for fucking help.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that we've seen this 10
Shit
years
is
ago. We saw this video
crazy.
10 years ago
Yeah.
Yeah.
in New York, man, with the dude who was selling Lucy's cigarettes on
That
the
was
street.
that
yo.
was not 10 years ago.
When was that?
4
Nah, that
years
was
ago.
like was it 4?
Eric Gardner was
Eric
about 4
Garner.
years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't 10, but yeah, it was
It
definitely.
was. Yeah.
Even then.
I know what happened before when Black Lives Matter hit, like
Yeah, it did.
2016.
Mhm, yeah.
Because you dead on. It's like modern day lynching. It's like saying "fuck you." The level of comfort on his face, knowing that he was not going to get caught, was amazing. Like he had no.
He was so
care.
confident, right? He was just
Yeah.
like so like, yo, ain't shit gonna happen to me, yo.
Yeah.
Like no kind of like nervousness. No kind of nervousness within the other cops. I know you said they were kind of like probably following his lead.
I felt like
right?
the Asian dude looked nervous.
Yeah.
That they I don't know what he.
But maybe
You
he
know
was,
what
like
I'm
you
saying?
said, maybe he was a superior and they just didn't know what do they do to their superior at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
The
they're not
crazy
gonna
thing is
stop him.
like the wind. He was on his windpipe. The other 2 were on his back, like in his upper back, and one was towards his stomach. So even like the breathing, if someone sits on your stomach,
I
you
mean,
can't breathe.
and then they were beating the shit out of him in the
He's already-
car.
the
he's
squad
already
car
weakened.
before. So then whatever, you know what I mean?
it's yeah. There's no fucking justification of
Do you think the other cops should be tried?
yeah, of
Second-
course.
Absolutely.
But what degree? Second degree?
no. Yeah,
No, like whatever. I mean, you know this.
it has
Mr.
to be.
Lawman.
It has to be. It has to be.
Speak on it, lawman.
Frank, give me the credit that I deserve. It has to be because what if the pressure that was being applied on his back or his chest was what took him out?
Direct cause of his death.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they
what
did-
it was. The bullshit autopsy that they had, right?
yeah.
The police released a bullshit autopsy.
No, but they got a new autopsy. They just mentioned it recently.
Yeah, so you don't know what pressure they were
But they're
applying.
an accessory.
No, of course.
They're an
all
accessory.
4 of the motherfuckers are going down. And if they get acquitted and they think this shit is
There's
bad
no way
right
they can
now,
get acquitted.
this shit's gonna be lit up, bro. Like it's gonna be in fucking insane. And then, you know what the craziest part is? Talking about police department like backing up each other. There was cops at Officer Chauvin's house to protect them because they felt that they were gonna come kill him.
Yeah. Well, they were. They were there. They
Yeah.
were ready to take that motherfucker.
Yeah,
yo.
but that's the craziest thing. Like even some cops believed that he was innocent,
well, he had what, $500,000 bail?
Yeah.
bro.
That's
Yeah.
nothing.
That's $50,000.
So today they found out the cause of the death was. We might have to edit this out because I can't pronounce this word. Asphyxia.
It's Fitzia.
I said it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause of death was for asphyxia due to neck and back compression that led to a block of blood flow to the brain.
There you go. So whatever officer was in the middle of the one in his stomach area and the one of his neck, he has the equal fucking
Right. And
guilt.
then the other 2 are accessory, if anything, right?
The Asian guy
Is accessory,
might be an
100%.
accessory,
Yeah.
and he might get the least of it, but
because he didn't have his hands on
because he was
actual
not
George
on,
Floyd.
Yeah.
he was just standing.
But
there.
the fact that he allowed it to happen.
He was a bystander, but he can get off of what? He was a top rank, and he's probably a rookie, and we don't know.
He looked like a rookie.
Yeah,
He looked like he didn't know what the fuck was going on, to be honest.
he might be a rookie, and he might be in under his 3-year
Probation.
probation that he might be off. But the other 3 that were on him, they're gonna get some shit.
Damn.
And that's a scary thing. Like when it goes to trial, man, like
It could be another
it could
riot.
be a whole
Say if they
nother
get
thing,
off,
bro. Like that's
That's what I'm saying.
really
if they get
scary.
off, Crook, it's gonna be
Fam,
nasty.
this could be worse.
Can
man.
I tell you something? There are so many reasons. The thing is like, it's scary right now because now the kids know. There's certain kids out there that know, like, we can get away with this shit. We can get away with property damage. We can get away with looting.
There's more of us than you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's more of us than y'all can't keep up with us. So there's so many things. And that's the thing is that a lot of these looters, and I'm not talking protesters, a lot of these looters, they're smart. They went there looking as, they dressed up as protesters. They acted like protesters.
They were carrying it.
They were in the cover of protesters. They blended in. And then when they got the opportunity, they took it.
Yeah.
And they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And this is the scary thing is there's so many reasons to protest, and the year's not even over yet. There's reasons for protesting for there's no vaccine. If a second wave of the pandemic comes on, how the election goes, how the actual how the voting process is.
Yeah.
That's
right?
another thing. Yeah.
There's so many
'Cause
reasons.
You can't even congregate to vote.
Exactly. So there's so many reasons. There's so many possible reasons for another riot, another protest, another thing to get out of hand.
Yeah.
And at that point, they'd be like, looting these stores isn't enough.
Yeah.
Maybe we take it another step forward. Maybe we start looting these rich people's homes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I remember in '92, man, people were so hopeful. They were like, finally, we got them on camera. Finally,
Right.
justice is going to be served. So people
With
actually,
Rodney King, yeah.
people actually relaxed because they're like, how are they going to get out of this? The shit's on camera.
Yeah,
There's
this shit's on
no
camera.
way
They're wailing on this guy.
they're going to get away with this. Reginald Denny and the rest of those dudes. I'm not Reginald Denny. He was the truck driver, but they were like, there's no possible way. When they came with that verdict, bro, everyone, the initial thing was shock. It was initial shock, and then it just turned into chaos.
That's what I'm saying. These guys get acquitted, fam. Get ready.
Yeah.
Shit's about to hit the fan.
They're not going to get acquitted. There's no fucking
And then
way.
I believe they said he has the same lawyer as
The
got
one
off.
that Philantro Castro.
Yeah, he had the same lawyer that got the guy that killed him off.
That guy too. That guy he got trigger happy.
Philando Castillo?
He got no. The guy the officer that killed him.
Yeah.
He was nervous because he thought he was reaching for a gun. Oh, he was reaching for a gun. He said, "Yo, my gun is there. I'm gonna show it to you." And then he was gonna show it, and this guy just popped off on him.
Are you talking about the black kid who got shot in the back?
No, this
Who
is
ran away?
No, this is the guy that got shot in the car with his wife, with his girlfriend on the side. Next time, and the kid in the back.
And with the,
That was on Facebook Live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one where she's crying,
Yeah.
and then the little girl's trying to calm her mom down.
Yeah, that was fucking insane.
But that
That was 2016.
yes.
Wait, Black Lives Matter went global in 2016 because of we just looked it up. It was Alton Sterling, right?
Yeah.
Right.
July
And then-
5th.
and then right after that,
July 6th.
right, the
There was
next
a
day,
Philando Castile that
that
got
Facebook
killed.
Live killing was, and it was just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And
It was back to back.
And then everyone was like, yo, this is too insane. And I think something else happened like a week later.
Oh, after
It was the first time that social media turned into a platform for information.
Yeah.
yes.
Because it was the first time I was looking to the Shade Room and all of these blogs for actual information on what was going on because the
news
news was
outlet.
late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the news was late on all this. Like all of this shit spread on social media first in 2016. And that was groundbreaking at the time because we were like, how is the news late on this?
Yeah.
How are people knowing about this before the
In
news
real time.
outlets?
In real
Yes, in real time. And that's when social media changed
Everything.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because prior to 2016, it was a very different. Everyone approached it very differently, in a very positive way. Everyone was trying to be like super positive and be motivating and inspiring. And then in 2016, it got super dark,
And that was election year too.
and it was election year.
I think it's crazy that no one's talking about Ahmaud Arbery anymore either. Like it's
I
like
know, I was about
that's
to
a
say that,
forgotten
man.
thing. Like and that shit just barely like he was the topic
Wasn't
of every
that like
conversation a week
2
ago.
I don't think
ago?
I don't think anyone forgot about it, but I think he's definitely.
Part of this.
He's definitely this movement is not anything without him either. Being
Right.
this year, I mean, that was fucking. That to me, I mean, it really it's a scary thought, man. That just a black man could just go out jogging, and can get shot by a bunch of non-police people.
Yo,
Just like
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm scared to jog around my neighborhood where I live at. Where I lived there for like over 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm scared to fucking jog because of what happened.
But you guys understand, like, if you guys get pulled over, if someone approaches you like that, you know, as a friend of you guys that cares about your life, you guys cannot show that much emotion. You have to, like, be as calm as possible if that's possible.
And cooperate as much.
Yeah, the last time I got pulled over was for the light under my license plate was out.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing or an offense, but it happened. And the cop was cool, but I mean, I was so like even keel and just answering every question he asked.
Yeah.
Like straightforward, no kind of emotion, just yes, sir, no, sir. Do you need my license? Do you need my registration? Like just trying to be super cooperative. And, you know, that's all I can do in that moment is just take my emotion out of it, like you said, and just be extremely cooperative and extremely informative, whatever the cop needs, because what else can I do in that moment? You know, if I show any emotion, it might trigger him to do something, and I gotta be careful. And
I just remember when I was younger, being with my boys, and just like whenever cops pulled us over, it was like, shut the fuck up. Everyone shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. And like, we used to get smacked around. I mean, I got smacked around.
Yeah.
But it was just like one of those things where you just dealt with the shit, you know what I'm saying? And you just never talk back, and you just dealt with the shit. I've had them, you know, rummage through my shit and take CDs out of my bag and then walk out and be like, break shit for no reason, break Walkmans for no reason. And it was just one of those things where you just dealt with the harassment, you know what I'm saying? And obviously I'm Asian, I'm not, I'm not black or Latino.
Right.
But
you're still one of us.
No, but I'm saying, like, at that time, it was an understanding. But like when motherfuckers got emotional, it's like you knew some shit was gonna escalate. Yo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like we always used to tell like one another, like, calm the fuck down, like don't say no shit. Mm-hmm. Even when they like smacked you in the face, you just shut up and you took the smack. And like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, like, you say some shit, they could do whatever they want, yo. Mm-hmm. They could beat the shit out of you and say you pulled out a knife.
Exactly. It's
or do whatever.
Their word against yours.
Exactly. And it was,
and they have the upper hand.
Yeah, there was so many times we got violated by cops, and obviously we weren't doing the best things. We were going around tagging shit.
Yeah, we're not angels.
We were doing graffiti.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would see the markers and the spray cans. They would like take it, whatever, and they'd be like smacking us around, like, get out of here and all of this shit. And it was just part of the whole ritual of going out. But yeah, I mean, I worry nowadays, just like I fear that sometimes, like, motherfuckers, I hate watching the videos when motherfuckers get emotional and they start yelling at the cops. I'm like, oh man, like, it's just making shit worse, yo. It's just like, man. It's just like, take the L, yo.
Just shut
you know
up,
what
be
I mean?
quiet.
But like you said, that emotion comes from maybe having prior instances.
Exactly, and it's like I understand that at the same time, but it's like it's so hard to watch because
you know the ending result.
I know, it's just like, yo, it's just like, man,
yeah,
it's just frustrating, man, on all levels. Yeah, I mean, I think we should end this, but I mean, who's to know what's to come out of this, man? I mean,
yeah,
I mean, it's still developing today. I mean, LA got mad crazy curfew time now. You can't be out or else you get a $1,000 warning.
Dude, that's crazy. 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
You got to be home by 1.
And Santa Monica and Beverly Hills curfew is 1 p.m.
I mean, dude, this is serious because it's nationwide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we can't even, I don't know how many cities it went across.
Yeah.
Dude, so many. Chicago, Atlanta.
Over 15, you know?
I want to say at least 15. You got to think about it was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then it was New York, and it was D.C.
I don't want to count all of it, but yeah, I mean, there was all over the country, and I don't know.
Once it got to L.A., I tweeted, I'm like, if L.A. gets involved, it's a wrap. And sooner than later, when I start seeing a cop get beat up, I was like, whoop, they started the party a little early. And after that, it was a wrap.
Shit, man.
Yeah, man. I really hope. I don't know, man. I really hope this ends in a positive way, somewhat positive way, man, or something towards change. And I honestly think, man, everybody's gonna take an L this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how the elections are gonna be.
This whole year.
I'm not the person to talk to about that, but I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't have a good feeling about nothing this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm real scared about the election. I mean,
dude, I'm scared. What has
I mean, the way things are now, people already can't gather in bunches. So most people their way of voting is through gathering. So how's that going to work?
And we
Most people
know,
don't vote online.
Yeah, and we know they want to
Re-elect.
you know, the whole thing is to create voter suppression.
Right.
They
So this is
want
built
motherfuckers.
in.
They
It's built
want
in.
motherfuckers not to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an easy out.
It's an easy dub.
And then
bro.
who do we vote for? For
Exactly.
Biden?
We don't have no one good to vote for.
We're gonna vote for Biden? Like,
He may be the only option when it's all said
I
and
mean,
done.
at this point, well, we don't know who his vice president is, so we'll see what happens.
I wish it was like, remember those movies that we like, yo, vote for all the above? Or no, like none of the above.
None of
None of the above.
Is there an option like that? None of the
No, you
above?
gotta go with a liberal.
Option D.
If everyone just goes with a liberal, we'll be all right. Just a random
I
liberal.
don't think Biden's the answer, man.
Nah.
I mean, none of these guys are.
Did you see that tweet that someone said that the peaceful way to have done this would have been to let Bernie be our nominee?
I didn't see that. But
Yeah, that would have been the only peaceful, because we like everyone's like, yo, like the looting, the protesting, da da da, and they're like, well, you took away the only peaceful option we had, which was Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you took away Bernie Sanders and you left us with Biden, it's like what what could we do? What is the peaceful option at that point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't even seen like Biden really give a motivational speaking.
But there's all these things that's saying that as much as Bernie is for the people, a lot of the things that he would have wanted to change, he wouldn't have been able to change it because it would have been so radical.
Oh yeah, of course. But he would have put the play in motion.
But it's just like you kind of need a radical motherfucker right now.
Yeah.
Because everything else is not going to work. It's not at all.
That's why I really enjoyed Andrew Yang when we went to go see him.
Andrew Yang was on his shit, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Call him back, Crook.
he
Get
was
him back.
he was definitely on his shit with the whole the
Universal,
UBI shit,
yeah.
right?
And then they took his shit and they basically gave us money. It's the same way he wanted. And they called him crazy.
But
because-
now we can never really like. I mean, someone was bringing up they've given out trillions, right?
Yeah.
We can never complain about anything else of them saying we don't have enough money to fix the water in Flint.
Absolutely.
We don't have the money to do this, or we don't have the money to fix this. They got the money for education.
This
They
year-
got the money for everything, yo. They're just not doing it.
Yeah.
So now we know the system is corrupt. We know all of this shit. We know the police is corrupt. What do we do? How do we fix this
Like
shit?
cutting funding in schools. 'cause
I don't
they
even
wanna-
know where to begin to fix it, but I know it doesn't start with non-black DJs going on Twitter saying how much they love the black man.
Or Virgil just
And-
giving $50.
or Virgil giving like all of
Just
these
50?
all of these things are
My man.
distractions, bro. Like
Yeah.
honestly, man, and
$50.
it's like
crazy.
we need everybody to be unified in some way, and being unified does not mean you have to like declare how much of a non-racist you are by saying you know this many black people or whatever. There was a funny shit with dances on Twitter. If you don't know this motherfucker on Twitter,
Oh yeah, Dances
he's-
put up a cool challenge,
Dances
right?
is fucking. He did the challenge to like, what did his challenge was? Let me find it. Hold on.
Oh, here we go. Got it quick. Here you go. Tag a black friend challenge. Post a collage pic of you with 5 different black people. It can be a group photo. You must do 5 different photos, and the same black person can only appear in 3 of them. The next
He gave
part-
a choice.
The next part is tag the black people in them and ask if they consider you a friend, if they have been sensitive to the racial issue on a scale of 1 to 10. It's crazy.
I think that's a good challenge.
I think
I support that challenge actually. Shout out to Dances, yo. That motherfucker's Twitter is hilarious, man.
he's dope.
And he speaks a lot of real true shit.
Honesty, yeah.
And and the thing is, like, is it surprising to us that the EDM community isn't behind Black Lives
no,
Matter?
I'm not
Not
surprised.
at all.
Why do y'all expect that shit? You know what I'm saying? You know who was talking about that shit early on was Spider Tech, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
about-
Oh,
on
that's
his
right,
episode.
yeah.
On his
Mhm,
episode.
yeah.
About all the racism
Yeah.
and hypocrisy he faces,
Yeah.
being like a black producer DJ in the EDM world.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's even crazy. Even Diplo, man, like Diplo's getting heat. He's trying to push like his country album right now. That dude was trying to release do marketing for a country album this weekend.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
Like you got to know when to
Yeah.
promote and
When to chill,
like,
when to fall back.
yeah, push the release back.
Yeah, man.
Didn't they push the release back on the PS5 too?
No, the PS5's always been December.
Is it? Oh, okay.
They just been
I heard they pushing it back even further.
No, they pushed back the announcement of it. Like the demonstration of the video game. I mean, of the console.
Yeah, that doesn't even seem right now.
Yeah.
Even with the whole NASA shit that happened with
going
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
It's like such a weird time to happen.
Trump was there. He was at the. He was
Of course
at that
he
shit.
was.
That's crazy, man. I don't know.
I mean, we in scary times right now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, man, just be safe. And honestly, right now is the time to just talk to people in your circle
I agree.
Yeah. Mhm.
Communicate.
and
Exactly,
communicate,
man.
and just
Yeah.
honestly look at the way you guys have been doing shit and how you. And if you don't understand what's going on right now, that's natural, I think, right?
Yeah. Don't feel like you gotta know everything.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have an opinion about it, that's fine. But I think before you share that opinion on social media, you got to speak with people in your circle, and you also got to question maybe how disconnected you are.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you got to start befriending a bunch of black people, but you got to honestly realize.
Or tweet about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in this day and age with technology and everything, it's so much easier for people to be, and I could be wrong because it's happened through generations, but I think it's so much easier for people to be disconnected and to stay in their own world and not really have to think of anybody outside of that world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't look like them or who doesn't appear like them, or if this person's not doing anything for me, so it's not important for me right now. I think we have to move beyond that. But yeah, I mean, any final thoughts from you guys?
Just check on your people. Talk to people.
Yeah,
Make sure everybody's okay. Help them out. Not
Yeah.
everybody's not the same, and everybody's going through it differently. Process is different.
And there's some of these DJs that are on Twitter right now or on, I don't know, Instagram, and they're like, yo, I'm calling out all these other non-black DJs.
We don't need that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
like-
is not the time, man.
Yeah, honestly, man, I don't need no Cape Crusader DJ to go out there and just let me know who are the quote-unquote racist DJs. Because, like, honestly, that's not helping shit.
Yeah.
That's not helping nothing. Like, we're here to, like, if you're knowledgeable on shit and if you know what's going on, spread that knowledge with the ignorant motherfuckers, but don't attack them. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you're gonna get is a bunch of fake responses from people.
Yeah.
Or uneducated or
Just a bunch of
disconnected, yeah.
insincere, and then you're gonna create more of a wall and a barrier between all of us. To be honest, man, what we need to do is, as DJs, we need to create an environment that's more comfortable for motherfuckers to speak about some of the ignorant shit that's in our world, and maybe some of the ignorant shit we do.
Yeah. Start with what you can control, not with.
Yeah,
what
man.
you
Like,
think
I
you
don't
can control.
understand like you trying to do some shit, some positive shit, but that's not positive to me. Like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think you guys need to know who are the racist DJs who are quote unquote racist or whatever.
I'm not
like
even
that.
thinking about that.
It's not even who's racist
Who
or
cares,
who's
man?
unsupporting. It's just like let it
Yeah,
go.
that's
It's
the last thing that's on
you're
my
not the
radar
fucking.
right now.
You're not the DJ police.
Because that's
to go-
not, like you said, that's not what's going to get us to the solution.
No.
That's all you
All it
digging.
is just calling people out is going to make things uncomfortable and make people go hide.
It'll
and
make
shell
it even
somewhere.
worse than
Yeah.
it is right now.
You're
Yeah.
digging the fucking hole deeper at that point. You're splitting hairs.
And that's coming from two black DJs, B and D Miles.
Yeah.
Here's a better challenge: check on your friends and make sure they're okay mentally.
For sure.
Yeah.
On that note,
On that note,
if you want to watch this video alongside all our brand new videos that we release on Friday, youtube.com/R.O.A.D podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be the first to watch the video.
and big shout out to DJ City, man.
Yes, sir.
Yo,
Yeah, man.
everyone be safe.
Yes,
And
sir.
It's tough
Yeah,
times, man. There's
Same.
no way around it. And just stick together.
and if
Yeah.
you can, donate.
More than $50. We're gonna name this episode $50.
Peace.
Peace.